Yo,
Welcome to the new meta, episode 132.
132.
132.
Unbelievable.
We made it.
Yeah,
We made it to the end game.
this is the last episode.
This is the final one.
Yeah,
Just
132.
kidding.
That's the magic number.
Yeah. For what reason?
I don't know.
Was that your number of arena tournament wins in Halo as a pro?
Yep.
132. It's not bad. It's not a bad run.
Mhm.
Yeah. We're getting absorbed. Yeah. Last week, you want to go through some polls?
We're getting bought out. All right.
We're getting bought out by Blizz.
Please, let's
get on the polls.
Blizz, yeah. So yeah, last week we asked, do you think Diablo 2 Resurrected is actually happening? I'll let you guys vote on that last second. So the reason we asked this, right, is what we talk in time and time again, is there's really there doesn't seem to be any basis for this really whatsoever. But it's been a thing. It's been a thing for like the last 3 years at least. That people have been talking about.
Started making the game when we started saying it was going to release, then they could probably be finished by about now.
Yeah, we'd have an expansion already.
Yeah, no, right? They like money. Blizzard, do you want to print money?
Yeah, but it's pretty wild because now we're on that cusp of BlizzCon yet again, and yet again
rumor hits. It's like
I think
right
they just. And, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff today around BlizzCon. And it's just I don't know what it is, but, we're going to dissect stuff, just images, like something as stupid as just an image. We can sit here and we can theory craft like a million different things that means. And, of course, our brains and our hopes and dreams always go towards like the stars in terms of like, what we could get for Diablo. And so, yeah, I don't see that there's really any record other than maybe a couple like Kotaku articles that suggest that there will be a Diablo 2 Resurrected, but here we are.
So what do you think? What's your vote on this poll? Yes or no?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess, because I can't. The thing is right. So Diablo 3, I think, has left a pretty sour taste in the mouths of a lot of longtime Diablo fans. And Diablo 2 won't have that same effect, I feel like, especially with the basically the safety of just like re-releasing a game that was already successful once upon a time. There's basically no risk.
As long as they don't mess with it, there's very little risk because people know what they're getting. But if they Final Fantasy 7 treatment that bad boy.
Yeah. Or Warcraft 3 Reforged treat that bad boy.
Yeah. Yeah. How did they even mess that one? Don't
know.
That was supposed to be like a 1-to-1. I don't think they even talked about, we're going to change these things, But yeah, it's interesting. I think Diablo 2 Resurrected is probably going to happen. I think it's a thing. Inevitably, I think it's going to hit before Diablo 4. I think it buys Diablo 4 some breathing room too, because I think right now it's just Diablo 4, Diablo 4, Diablo 4. And it'll be interesting to see if Diablo 2 Resurrected did drop, if it kind of like at least buys them a year of, okay, we don't have to have it, in 2021, because I think right now that the community expectations are pretty crazy. Like when they said Blizzard soon, like I was like, oh man, like 2022. And then with, the Corona stuff, it's like, I'm thinking like 23 now, maybe. And people are thinking like demo for D4 at BlizzConline. Like, I don't know, man, we'll talk about that. But I think, yes, it'll happen before Diablo 4. I really do.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think that it's hard to think of a universe where this probably isn't going to be a thing, because again, to me, if you play it safe and it's actually like a 1-to-1, there's probably zero chance. Like even for people like us that the idea of playing Diablo 2 in the current year is kind of cringe, like based on all the systems they had. But we'd still buy it, and I think that's a testament to Yeah, it's a sure thing. So why not do it? Obviously, we both hope for like an additional like new game mode or whatever. But yeah, I think that it's it's an easy choice to make this happen. Whether or not it will, I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's still very disappointing because I don't know. I want to see Blizzard do like continued content for like a Diablo game and like impress us and set the stage for Diablo 4.
I hope that that's one of their priorities with Diablo 4 is ease of development. I think a lot of developers don't take time to consider how long it's going to take them to create new content for a game when they release it. And I think that needs to be implemented in the core design of the game in a way where it's like, hey, we're not limited by our tools or our design infrastructure or something. So that way they can pump out content, you know? And I hope that D4 can get POE level of updates. Like that's what we want. We want a live service Diablo game.
Yeah.
And not a static box game. But D2 is just a box game regardless of what they release, unfortunately, I feel like. So, but it'll help hold us over at least. I mean, what if it ends up being better than Diablo 3?
I mean, it's a high likelihood, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it could at least be something we could play until D4 comes out, you know, if it's good. So, I hope they do, man. My vote is yes. I think it will happen because I think if they already absorb Vicarious, they are the remaster masters.
Yeah.
And I hope that they are already working on it, or if they're not, they're starting now, you know?
Right.
So since they're remaster masters, like what else could they remaster? StarCraft 1, maybe? Haven't they done that already, though?
Let's remaster Diablo 3, please.
It's almost been long enough, dude. You almost could. You realize it came out in 12, right? It's been damn near 10 years, man.
Yeah.
Like next year it'll be 10 years. That's nuts to think about. Like it doesn't feel like it was that long ago because I still remember the release. But
you know what's wild to kind of think about? Like if we retrace Diablo 3's history, like back to when, you know, Diablo 3 had a full team on it. And we think about like season 1 and like really ultimately how little content that really was. You know what I mean?
Did they have a full team for season 1?
I think so.
Oh, I wonder. I wonder if they did. I don't know how long in that process was it. When did they cancel the expansion? I think is a big thing too.
Well, that was like further down the road because of the Necromancer pack, and they took the scraps.
Did season 1 drop? Did season 1 drop like early in Reaper of Souls? I thought it took a while before.
It did take a while, but you also Necro was season 11, and that was basically some of the scrapped work that they had for.
Yeah.
So
I wonder. That's interesting. I wonder what the timeline is when they started seasons and when they scrapped.
Yeah.
You know, because maybe they were working on the expansion. They're like, we're scrapping this, and then the guys are like, okay, well, let's implement this kind of system features where we can just do some minor changes and this and that. You know, if that was like a rehash. But yeah, man, I'm with you. Season 1 was just let's reset everybody.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there was anything. I think you got cosmetics. If you hit, and do you remember back then? I always felt like the cosmetics were a limited event item, and if you didn't max level that season, you were gonna miss them forever.
Yeah.
Like that's the way it was pitched in my eyes for season 1, because I remember in season 1 going, "Oh shit, I'm 100% gonna level to get the cosmetic," and then I can't miss season 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, because I want. And then once they repeated the cycle once, I'm like, "Oh, I got jebaited on this. Like this isn't what I thought it was." So
yeah, I mean, PoE does that. They lock in cosmetics to the achievements.
Yeah, you miss it, you lose it.
Yeah,
you know, FOMO, I guess, but that works a little bit. You know.
Yeah, but even like if I'm looking at Blizzard as a whole, like, and maybe you could speak more to this because you're a World of Warcraft player. You know, the game that probably gets a tighter content schedule than
they get a lot of love over there. Yeah.
But even I remember so I played a lot of WoW during like Wrath of the Lich King and AAB Early Legion, but I don't ever remember like getting the content updates and being like, wow, Palgers. Like it's always kind of like, oh, okay, a new area for daily quests or something.
Yeah, man, WoW's never had. Very rarely do they get content drops. Like it's usually the 1.2.3 of the expansion, right? So your expansion's like, this is expansion 9, so it's 9.0 right now. When 9.1 drops, that's like one of their big content drops.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be something that like is like a whole new expansion feel. They're going to drop usually a little mini area, so it'll be like a smaller zone, smaller area zone, a lot of class balancing, and then maybe a new dungeon, maybe a new raid, things like that. But it's definitely content though. Like getting a new raid is pretty cool. And then even in WoW now, recently in the last couple expansions, they started doing these seasonal things too, where it's like seasonal season PvP, season of Mythic Plus, the new raid tier. All these things are kind of tied together, so it makes the rollovers feel a little bit bigger. But yeah, it's hard to compare, like what PoE's got crazy levels of content. I don't know because I haven't really played PoE at any kind of high level, but from what I've learned, this this league, we'll have to see what they do next league. And as somebody that doesn't know all the builds and all the things, does it feel like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy from all the stuff I've already learned? Or is it just like, okay, but their patch notes are crazy big. So,
Yeah.
But WoW's, it's big, man. They get content. Like if we could get that on D4, even WoW levels of content, I think that would be a good start. That's a really good start, because the game's always changing. If you haven't logged in WoW in 5 months and then you come back to play, you're gonna be like, oh, there's a bunch of new shit to do. Like there's crazy new stuff to do, So
I think that's just probably one of the worst paradigms about World of Warcraft is because maybe there's tons of new things to do, but to get to it, you have to like play through the story, and that's always the same.
Yeah, but it's like that in PoE. You got to play through the campaign every league too. And like if we're like, I'm not even a PoE player, right? But I hate the campaign already, and I've only done it like 5 times. Like you guys that have done it on multiple tunes multiple times, like it sucks.
So how fast would it take like someone that's really good at WoW to get through the campaign?
I can level a character in Shadowlands in probably like 6 to 7 hours. So roughly equivalent to probably one of you guys doing a PoE campaign. Maybe you could probably do it in 4 or 5, right?
Yeah, 4 probably.
So yeah, I mean, I could probably do it if I was like, okay, let's race. I could probably do it in under 7 hours, But a casual would take 12 to 15. Just like me on PoE. If I'm going in and trying to figure out where quests are and looking shit up, and it takes a long time. But it's the same, I think, for a lot of games though, man. Like if I didn't touch PoE for 4 or 5 months and I came back, I'm gonna be like, oh crap, I got two leagues worth of content to figure out. Like I'd have to figure out, like now I'd have to do heist and I'd have to do ritual, and then plus the Atlas changes and all the other stuff they did last patch too. So yeah, it's a lot of juice. But if we could do that with Diablo, if we had a Diablo thing where it's like you log in, like, oh, I haven't played in 2 months, let me see what's new, and then you're like, oh shit, I got all this stuff to do. That's really cool,
Yeah, I hope that I'll be interested how to do seasons in T4, because if it's just like, oh, we added like 4 new legendaries and like change some of the sets or change some numbers.
Let's go through the poll, and then I'm gonna make a note because I want to kind of hit back on this subject in a second.
Yeah. Anyways, so Diablo 2 Resurrected. Do you think it's actually happening? We both are just gonna say yes. And surprisingly, we're pretty split. 54% of the vote says no, and 46% of the vote says yes. Wow. It's pretty split, 50-50. I mean, I understand the skepticism, for sure.
Yeah.
This will kind of tie into something we'll talk about in just a second. But poll number 2, will Diablo 3 get any juice at BlizzConline? Yes or no?
Okay.
And this is also something we'll kind of dig into a bit. Because again, guys, we are talking a lot about BlizzCon today. But first up, we're all going to sink into a little bit of depression here real quick. I was researching like I do every week, right?
Yeah.
I'm on Reddit. I'm on the Blizzard forums. I'm, in our Discords, just like feeling out stuff and looking for topics. And man, I came across this. I'm not going to show the title because they're like calling out a player, and I think that's TOS. But where this guy's got 8K plus Paragon, and he's complaining about it, right? It's like, why isn't Blizzard doing anything? Why isn't Blizzard doing anything? And it's not even the post that makes me like sad, I guess.
Yeah.
It's
the comments.
The comments. It's just like everyone's like, they don't care. Blizzard doesn't give a shit about us. Blizzard doesn't give a shit about Diablo 3. Like they don't talk to us. They don't tell us anything. Like this game's not even supported. It's just like a dumpster fire. And like it's just like, man.
Yeah. Like this guy's reply, and I don't even know if this is true, but he says, turns out Blizzard does have admin privileges for console leaderboards and can edit them. They just never do. And it's like, do you know that? Like that to me seems like you don't really know that,
Right.
I would imagine
that blows.
I would imagine that they probably could ban people, but I don't know how easy or hard it is for them to do that. And it could be a thing where they're like, they have to have proof. Like Nintendo's like, hey, Sony and Xbox are like, hey, if you're banning somebody from the system, you have to have a reasonable reason that you can submit to us if they petition or something for a refund for the game. And it turns out that that's more effort than it's worth to Blizzard, or maybe it's harder. I don't know, man. I don't know the legalities behind it, but it does suck that they don't. Like, it's clearly obvious when you have duped items and rings and every single or jewelry and sockets on every piece of gear that shouldn't even have them. It's like, okay, like just ban that ass.
Yeah,
like,
it's funny that you mentioned like the fiscal nature of it, because I've always been curious. So if Blizzard does a ban wave, we sit here and we meme and be like, well, they could just sell more copies to the bots that want to come back.
Yeah.
But I always have wondered, like, so say Blizzard makes that decision, since it's in their TOS, they could ban for anyone for no reason whatsoever. But they make that call and they're like, okay, PChild's banned. We think he's botting. Yeah. And then you're like, what the fuck? And so you call, customer service, and customer service has to research whether or not you were a bot. And, you could call in multiple times, like saying, no, I didn't. And so I wonder, like, one, what it necessarily costs probably to ban someone, and is maybe that the rationale behind like not doing more ban waves. But two, I gotta wonder, and I don't know if they necessarily consider, and that it goes into like feeling more bad, but like, one, the cost of them having such a poorly supported game in amongst the community, like mentally. But maybe, I don't know, they feel like if they spite or they I don't know, betray the Diablo 3 community, doesn't really matter because we're not that big in the grand scheme of like people that are going to buy Diablo 4. I don't know. But that's, again, that feels terrible, right? To even say out loud.
Yeah, I guess somewhere somebody's analyzing the metrics on like the cost analysis for banning people versus player morale, And I guess cost analysis says that player morale loses. But to us, it feels like it would be the opposite.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, it's a weird thing, man. And you don't know the things that go on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
They have to make sure they don't false positive. And they have to, I would assume that as a policy, if they're going to ban people, they have to look into ban appeals, because they're all false positives that happen, So, when it does happen, you need to be able to get those guys taken care of. So I don't know. It does feel bad though, man. Like the dude in question has been 9,000, almost 9,000 Paragon, 20 hours a day for months and months. It's just like your body, like I've done a couple weeks with like very little sleep. It wrecks you, man. You're not playing at a high level 20 hours a day for months on months.
I mean, it's definitely hard to believe, and it does suck that we have to like sit here and even consider that. I mean, if we see anyone with that kind of uptime, we're automatically assuming that they're terrible. But yeah, I mean, it sucks to be in this position. But at the same time, I didn't necessarily bring it up. Obviously, there's botters all over PC. That wasn't necessarily the point of the discussion. It was just like, and I'm sure you felt it in my community. It's been actually nutty. I just feel like everyone's almost quasi depressed, I guess. And then in the realm of Diablo 3, I feel like, we're all in this like lull of, we haven't been updated about what the heck's going on with PTR, or is there going to be a season end date? This season's gone on for at least a month over when it kind of really should have. We don't really know what's going on.
Yeah. It's a thing. So the morale has very slowly sunk over the last 6 to 8 months, I feel like. Back when it was pretty low before BlizzCon 19, and then BlizzCon 19 came and we got D4, and then we had Matt on the Diablo forums was like super active, and we got the new announcement of the sets, and it was just like this fire was lit again, and the community was happy and excited, and I was happy, I was excited, and we were all playing the game, we were getting new stuff to play with. And then it slowly just kind of went back to where it was.
Yeah.
And almost even went further now, because it's almost like burn me once, shame on you, burn me twice, shame on me, right? So it's like I'm not falling for this again. It's kind of like the feeling that I'm getting from my community. And it's even become a thing where it's like I don't even play, like I've kind of jokingly been like, I'm never going to play PoE, this and that. And so now I'm playing PoE, and people are like, oh man, Blizzard finally did it to you, huh? They finally like pissed you off enough to play PoE. And it's not just from like one guy. I mean, I've had so many people come in and like meme on that, and just be like, oh man, I can't believe Blizzard made you do this. And it's like, it's just kind of funny. But yeah, man, even in my stream's usually pretty positive towards Diablo 3, and it's even, and I can't really even defend it anymore. I'm just like, yeah, man, it sucks. That's like really all I can say is like, yeah, it sucks, man. I wish we had stuff to talk about. Reasons to go play. So
yeah, I wonder if there's like an unforeseen ramp that kind of happens like before BlizzCon. So like obviously, the community managers and like everyone at Blizzard's probably, they're ramping, they're getting ready for this big event, this BlizzCon, right? And so maybe unknowingly create this really deep lull of nothingness, you know what I mean? Because like they're so, we got to get this thing ready, and
that's what I was talking about yesterday. We're sitting there talking about this stuff, and it's like maybe the reason that last season was pushed extra long and that we have no communication is because these guys are working hard on new content for us for BlizzCon. What if they're working on, clearly we already know we're going to get new wings, we're going to get a new portrait frame, we're going to get new transmog set, I guess, if you pay for them, which we can talk about in a little bit. But so we're going to get some pay to win stuff for Diablo 3, or pay to cosmetic. And then but what if they have other things planned that we they're just saving it for BlizzCon online?
Yeah, I mean, and if they do have stuff planned, it's like, well, you'd think like, okay, well, why wouldn't you just be like, oh, things are coming? But maybe they have this huge track record of like, if we say anything like somewhat hopeful to the Diablo 3 community, like we'll just blow it up and like, oh my god, we're already in an expansion or a character class, or like whatever.
Just like, hey, we got some things coming, but the forges are just lit. They're not burning hot. Okay, they're like
they're still like, warm.
There are coals in there from a couple of years ago. Okay, just relax. They've cooled off, but they're still going.
Yeah, and I think that there's also a lot of things happening that obviously we don't have insight on. The Diablo Immortal alpha happened, and there was obviously a ton of feedback to sort through, and I'm pretty sure that falls in the lap of the CMs and stuff like that. So there's probably a lot there that like we just don't have insight on. So like, especially if you're a Diablo 3 fan, because you're just like, I'm not getting anything about Diablo 3. What the hell's going on?
They got 3 CMs now. Like
well, but they also have like way more. They potentially have Diablo 4. They have Diablo Immortal. They have Diablo 3, and they have maybe another Diablo title.
Yeah. I mean, I have no idea what it takes to be a CM. I don't know what they do. All I'm thinking is if you got 3 of them, if one of them could be like, hey, Diablo Legacy team, Diablo 3 team, whatever you're calling them, right? What you guys got for us to throw out? Like the forums have been, kind of quiet for a while. What you got something for us? And then if they're like, no, then be like, okay. Right. Be like, well, get something for us. You know what I mean? Can you get something for us? I don't know, man. It's just like it,
Yeah. Yeah, we're just in a weird spot.
That's the hope. So if they've been quiet because they have juice for us at BlizzConline, awesome. Then I think we forgive that a little bit, right? Then we're like, okay. But if they don't have juice for us at BlizzConline, then how do we feel? Are we just like, really, man, again? Like, how many times are we gonna do this cycle?
Yeah, I think that if I'm Blizz and maybe I'm feeling that resentment maybe from the community a bit. I think if my plan is just to come out with season 23 and it's kind of like the same stuff, right? Like we've come to expect like a kind of a fun seasonal theme and maybe a couple of reworks here and there. I just say it. Like I'd be like, we're gonna announce season 23 of BlizzConline and like it'll be another fun season for you guys. I don't know that I would necessarily be like, oh, things are coming for Diablo 3 because I think that might set
things are coming means new things,
right?
That means expectation. Yeah, I'm with you. 100%.
So I'd probably just be like, okay, hey, expect season 23 details at BlizzConline, and then that kind of shuts the community up about, okay, well, we're gonna get PTR after that. It doesn't really matter. We know what's coming for Diablo 3 instead of being like, what is going on right now?
Right. Yeah. I wonder how much assets they have left over from that expansion they didn't use. I know Necro was a thing that they pulled out of it. I wonder if there is like entire maps, entire tile sets. I think the sewers and something else got ripped from there. I wonder if there are more, because it would just be like some of those things, man. If they could even just pull some of that together and be like, yo, look. So let's hope, man. I'm positive. I hope that the Vicarious merger, absorption, whatever you want to call it, I hope that some of those guys get to make us some D3 juice, even if it's just like, some really big reworks of classes and balancing, or like a total reset would be dope. But
I still think Diablo Season of Corruption, man, that's the play. That is the play.
What's corruption, where you can juice an item and break it?
Yeah, you could break it, you could break it, you could make it worse, or you can actually make it better. I don't know. I think we just need that in Diablo 3. The random legendary cube. So you get a cube, it puts a random legendary power on an item and also has the chance to break the item. I don't think that they'll do that because that's going to be Diablo 4's gimmick now.
Oh, you think so? Yeah. Well, yeah.
But yeah, I think we definitely need a way to gamble and then like lose everything or really get those big dopamine
pain
hits.
Is entertaining. Pain is entertaining, dude.
For sure.
It really is.
Because there's nothing like that. We talked about it time and time again. If you look back on all your seasons of Diablo, is there an item you remember? Maybe you remember like a perfect primal weapon.
It was like a perfect primal weapon. It was season 11 Necro, and I got a perfect primal Scythe of the Cycle,
which isn't even good anymore, right? Because it was like 200 or 300 back then.
I don't know. Yeah. Whatever it was,
it's trash now.
at the moment, but I'm saying that's that's probably one of the only weapons I remember. I remember when I got it, I was like, "Oh, baby," you know what I mean? And then that's really probably about it.
Yeah. Whereas, like some of the POE leagues I've played, I'm like, oh man, like that league, I got that perfect Elder Claw that was nutty.
T1. Yeah, like I'm always gonna remember making that Belly of the Beast on POE because it was the first one I ever did, and it so happened to be the item I want. It dropped, and I was able to make it what I wanted it to be because I'm pro as hell. It was sheer skill that got it. Yep, I'll teach you the 50 fusing trick after the league's over. Though.
It's the pacing of the clicks, maybe.
There's a thing, man. You have to set your hideout up a specific way. It's like a cheat code. And then once you have it set up that way, then you have to put specific items in the inventory. You don't go straight from your stash. You have to make a symbol, Yeah.
Also, buying a cosmetica here helps.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't bought any cosmetics on POE.
Wow. You're still wearing like default clothes and stuff? Damn.
0. I got 0. What's the clothes what the items turn into?
Yeah.
I have wings from the reveal event they did, which they're not even really that cool. And then like the hats, they give you a hat every league. So
I hate wings, man. I actually hate wings.
But yeah, I spent all my money on anytime I spend money on POE, it's gonna be tabs. Like I'm a collector, I'm a hoarder, dude. Like I just if I'm like, listen, I could buy wings or I could buy 10 tabs. I'm gonna buy the 10 tabs. Like give me the storage space.
I hate to see your house.
I did give them money this league. I gave them more money for more tabs.
Good.
You know.
One of the things I want to talk about, because we touched on this last week, and I had kind of mentioned it, and I wasn't really sure what the source was or where I'd seen it, but we mentioned last week, we're like, well, was Diablo 3 part of classic games, or like, is it its own thing? Is it on an island or whatever? And so I pulled up this post where Adam actually replied officially, and he says, Diablo Legacy is kind of newish. It's the renamed Diablo 3 team. They were part of classic team, but now since Rod Ferguson is here, the EP for Diablo franchise, the goal is to bring the Diablo teams under his leadership, so they are now referred to as the Diablo Legacy that sits alongside the Diablo Immortal and the Diablo 4 teams. So it is like this little,
their own
group of people, and
yeah, that's cool. I'm glad that they're not lumped together with Classic, because maybe that gives them more.
I mean, I think that's I don't know. You could argue both ways.
Less funding, less people, less resources.
People, yeah, less resources. If you're in classic games and like, oh, we're struggling with this, like more people might be able to come over and help, or
but maybe they have more touch. I don't know. At this point, it's like whatever they're doing, let's just get some extra people on it.
Right. And that's the most disappointing thing is, you and I have met the people that are working on Diablo 3, and it is, it's not something, people, right. And it's not something that we've leaked, but it's a very, very small group of people. And it's upsetting because and they're doing wonders for the size of their, like literally guys, the wonders for the size of their team. I just don't understand. And we don't understand, and all of us don't understand, and we all want like get more people in there. And
why is the team that small? Is the question. Like, come on, man. And the guys are super awesome too. And so it's like, so whenever I'm saying stuff, I'm like, man, I know these guys are busting their ass to do what they're doing, and so it feels bad because it's not their fault. It's upper management that doesn't give a rat's ass, or probably even have never played Diablo 3. They're probably people that are just like sitting there looking at numbers, and they're, what the hell, this game from 10 years ago? Fuck no, we're not giving them any money. Like, I'm not doing this. And so it's just crazy, man. It's a thing that I hope changes. At this point, though, it's almost like, do we really want them to spend resources on Diablo 3? Let's just hurry up and get Diablo 4 out.
And stop spending resources on anything else that Blizzard does. Like, wow, who cares? Okay.
No Diablo 4 either.
Resource.
Diablo 4.
No, keep the Diablo 4 the same. Keep
what was that team
those guys focused.
I forget. Like
Fenrir
team. Hey, Fenrir team. Yeah, we're all going to Diablo 3 real quick. We're going to resurrect this real fast. Diablo 3 resurrected. Forget the Diablo 2 resurrected.
And that's what kind of blows my mind is like, so obviously there's been a decision that's like, okay, well, obviously D3 isn't generating any profit because there's nothing there to generate profit. But then they see like its closest competitor, or in the same genre. I wouldn't even say POE is a competitor at this point. Like POE's got the
POE smashes the crap out of Diablo,
and that's their whole model is literally a cash shop with microtransactions. And so like no one would think that would work in Diablo 3. Like if poof tomorrow Diablo 3 had a cash shop, like they really don't think that some people would buy some shit. I don't know, man. It kind of blows my mind.
What's really cool is Destiny did this thing one time where they released a really, really cool quest line, an exotic weapon in the game. And it was, even by my count, it was one of the coolest quest experiences and things that they've added to Destiny. It was for Outbreak Prime. And it was like this whole mission and thing. And so after it was done and the community had did it and everybody got their weapons and a couple weeks had gone by or whatever, they released the thing and it said, hey, do you guys remember when we put XYZ on sale on the item shop? All of the money that we made from the XYZ item paid for the team that created that quest that you guys loved. Like, that's how the cycle works. And they literally like kind of went transparent and talked about the numbers and the stuff and like how they did it. And I was like, oh, that's pretty dope. Like to actually see like, okay, we put this for sale. You guys bought it. We took that money. We paid for this team. This team made this quest. You guys love the quest. Like, cool. Like that's a cool cycle, man. So I think if Diablo 3 was at least a little transparent, in that, and you'd be like, hey, we were opening an item shop for Diablo 3. Transactions and monies that you guys spend will go to development of future Diablo content, and then hopefully 6, 7, 8 months down the road, hey, here's that content we talked about. You know what I mean? So that'd be pretty cool. But
you know what I just noticed about this article is the original intent of the article. So this K. Lacron guy joined the Diablo Legacy team, and that was the clarification on what the Diablo Legacy team was. I guess I'm surprised they're bringing in. Yeah, they're.
When's that post from?
October 12th of 2020.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, because but we know that doesn't, you know what I'm saying? So interesting.
But yeah, and so is that kind of all we have for Diablo right now? Diablo 3 anyways.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's BlizzConline time.
Yeah. So let me pull up something here.
Good old BlizzConline. We got a trailer from BlizzConline.
That's right.
And it's kind of short, but you know,
it does the job.
I guess, yeah. Just kind of shows all its franchises.
Yeah, and so I think the important and the thing that actually I pogged out for a bit here with the BlizzCon information and the trailer is basically what's going to happen is they're actually going to separate with the Blizzard stream into 6 different streams. And so you'll be able to watch what you're interested in. Now, I couldn't really tell if that means like there's going to be a whole Diablo, like I can just watch a Diablo stream, or if that meant like, oh, this is like a community stream, this is for like the cosplaying stuff, and this is one's for like all just the game information and stuff like that.
It's not at the same time though, are they? Are they overlapping them again?
Yeah, there's 6 different streams.
Yeah, that's a lot of juice, man. What if there's, because see, like I'm interested in multiple things. Like I'm obviously super interested in anything Diablo. And then I'm also interested because I think they're going to talk about the WoW,
of course,
the big content drop on WoW. I think that'll be one of the big tickets actually. And then I imagine they're going to hit Overwatch too, because obviously they have Overwatch stuff in the trailer over there. So I'm interested in those 3 things. And if they drop them at the same time, that sucks. I got to go back and watch VODs, and I'd like to see it live, you know, experience it live.
And then see, I'm of the completely opposite perspective. I couldn't care at all. You know, I couldn't give 2 shits about what the hell's going on in World of Warcraft and Overwatch. Like, I just want to, if I could watch 2 days just of Diablo, like poggers, man. Like,
if they have 2 days of Diablo content, then that's cool. I don't imagine they are. Like, what
I don't know, man. I could listen to like an artist talk about his inspiration for making the world.
Streams?
Like, I would do it. Yeah, if it's Diablo, I'm in. I'll watch it. I'll ingest that shit. Yeah. I'm in.
Yeah,
I would rather watch someone talk about the lore of Diablo than what's going on with the next World of Warcraft dungeon. Like, I just don't care.
Well, it's because you're not actively playing WoW, and I get that.
Right. So
I get it.
It's like, you know, people always ask me like, well, what was better, BlizzCon or ExileCon? And it's almost an unfair question because ExileCon was 2 days devoted to POE. Which was fantastic. Like, it's all my right. DiabloCon. Yeah. Exactly. That's what I said. Like, DiabloCon would win for me, but that's not a thing. It's BlizzCon. So yeah.
So when we went to clarify or even I guess expand on that, when we were at BlizzCon, Fluff and I literally went to like all the Diablo stuff we could, and then I made Fluff go to some of the WoW stuff. But other than that, like we didn't care. Like when it wasn't a Diablo topic. And we were like just meeting up with community people. We're like, yo, what's up? Let's kick it. You know what I mean? So the rest of I would say 80% of the con was information we didn't care about, you know?
Yeah.
So, walking around finding the hunter artwork is what we were doing.
Yeah.
Leaking the next character class 2 years ago. You guys don't even know though, because you're not following us on Twitter. You should be.
Yeah. Tell them.
Twitch.tv. Wait, that's the Twitch link. Sorry, at ThaPChild, @Lord__Fluffy.
And then what I thought was pretty interesting is, you know, they do come out and they say the schedule. We're gonna have all 6 separate. But they gave us the official key art.
Yeah.
And, you know, front and center.
Yeah, so front and center is Lilith. So Diablo 4, that's cool. Guy with the big hammer thing is
Yeah. Balinor.
Yeah, he's the old Lich King guy that got the helmet ripped off him for Shadowlands expansion. Bolvar, something like that. Yeah, Bull something. So I guess he's going to be the new bad guy in WoW. He's front and center, so that means that 9.1 is probably going to feature a raid with him, and he'll be.
Wait, why would he be a bad guy?
I don't know, because he's going to be a bad guy. Like he's got to be, right? I don't know.
He looks that way, but I don't think
he looks like a bad guy, doesn't he? So he'll be 9.1 in WoW. That'll probably be the biggest topic of BlizzConline. Diablo 4's center, so that's probably second biggest, maybe. But are they going to give us juice? I hope so. I'm nervous. Illidan's got Hearthstone cards, so he must be in a Hearthstone expansion. And then we got StarCraft guy up there to the right. That's what are they doing with StarCraft 2?
Yeah, I mean he's a pretty big figure there. Are they just filling up or
I don't know. And then we got Overwatch in the back, all tiny and shit. But like Overwatch 2 is supposed to be a huge thing. So like I don't understand why they got Diva back there, or is that Diva?
Yeah,
I think it's Diva, just chilling. And then in the far back we got the dragon from Cataclysm. I forget his name because I play WoW only 27,000 hours, but I can't think of the name.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I don't pay attention to lore. So, but that's the dragon dude. So like, why is he in there too? And then, Deathwing. Thank you. That's Deathwing in the back. Who's behind Bolvar right there? Is there somebody underneath StarCraft 2 guy and Bolvar?
No, that's her bot. It's Diva's bot.
Oh, okay, yeah, true. So what are we missing? What's not there?
Warcraft, right?
Well, I guess. What would they do for like just Warcraft 3?
I don't even know what it is. Like I couldn't even even tell you.
What other like Heroes of the Storm didn't?
I think
they said that they were going
to
stop supporting that, but they still dropped patches and balance stuff. So and content.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So Lilith and the Wild Dude are front and center to me. Those are the ones that jump out.
Yeah. You know what kind of jumps out to me at this? And normally Blizzard does, I don't know. I feel like Blizzard does like a really good job with their art. I kind of feel like this isn't their best work.
Yeah, I'm with you. This looks kind of like thrown together.
Yeah, it's like a hodgepodge.
It looks like somebody had all these paintings and they're like, okay, Photoshop that stuff together real quick because it's layered. Like it wasn't one cohesive piece with the idea in mind when they drew it. So yeah, man, I'm with you on that. And the StarCraft guy looks pretty big too. It's just like, and I should remember his name, but I can't remember anything. Because he's pretty dope. But what are they gonna do with StarCraft? Like, what could they possibly? That game. I mean,
that's the thing, right? So Vicarious is now acquired, basically, right? So
yeah,
what's after Resurrected? StarCraft, obviously, to me is StarCraft. I don't want that, but I think that would be what it would be.
What are they gonna do? Like StarCraft 2, more StarCraft 2 content, I guess. I mean, I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see what they have. I mean, I always thought StarCraft would have been a really cool universe to expand another IP. I mean, StarCraft is a pretty cool place. Kind of like Warcraft is how they made WoW. Like if they did that first-person shooter-ish style game that they were talking about that got canceled, I think. We talked about it on the pod a long time ago. Something like that would be pretty cool. So, but yeah, I agree. Not a great picture, but Lilith is front and center. So D4 juice. I'm hoping. I'm
just
like,
Diablo
please?
Juice. Period. Yeah, please.
Yeah. Like, please. I want some good juice too, man. If they rehash the 2019 stuff again, I'm like, listen, we need new endgame. We need new. Honestly, I don't wish they would tell us the classes, but the new class. We're gonna get the new class reveal.
We're getting the new class. Yeah.
I want to talk about PvP. I want to talk about
Yeah.
at least one new in-game activity. Like, tell us what you're doing.
I want to see like hours of new gameplay footage.
What if they had an in-game activity and it somehow leaked to GGG and GGG like implemented it as a season league like way before then? Because like GGG can put in some work, right? They're like, what if it was like rituals? What if like rituals was like
Their
Diablo
thing?
4 thing and then somebody leaked it and then GGG's like, oh hell yeah, we're gonna put this ritual thing in there, and they stole the idea. Oh man, how pissed would, because then if Blizzard talks about it, like, you just copied that from POE, they beat you to it.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, if you look at Ritual, it's kind of like it's just a copy of like Breach, Abyss, and Legion anyway.
That's kind of what I wanted. I was gonna circle back to some of these when we hit the POE section and start talking about POE. I was gonna comment about how they kind of feel a lot alike,
Yeah,
it's just
but they're all different in their own way, and it's good.
Yeah.
Like Diablo 3 could easily probably copy one of these, and it'd be great. So
yep, I'm with you.
But yeah, I think that we front and center is obviously the Diablo, so that's juicy, and you got your WoW guy in front, so yay for you. But I'm hoping that this split stream thing is like, I just care about Diablo, so I'm gonna watch 2 days of Diablo and 6 different streams. So it just makes me think,
dude, there is no way they're getting.
Well, let's think. How 6? So 6 different streams. So it's like what? One is WoW, one is Diablo, one is Hearthstone, one is Overwatch, one is StarCraft, and one is what? What's number 6?
No. You're way too much. No, you're gonna have mainstream, which is gonna hit the big core games. You're gonna have like fan art stream. You're gonna have cosplay stream.
No, I'm just saying, if it was 6 and it was actually focused on games, what would the 6 games be?
Oh, it wouldn't be, but if it was, it would. Yeah, it'd be Diablo, WoW, StarCraft, Hearthstone, Overwatch, and then HOTS.
HOTS, you think would get its own? I doubt it. maybe the 6th one is the community stream, like is the cosplay stuff,
the filler stuff. Yeah. Well, they would probably, I could. StarCraft wouldn't get its own though, unless they got some super juice for it.
Maybe classic game stream then.
Yeah, maybe classic. So it's like Diablo, WoW, Overwatch. Those are the big, in Hearthstone. Those are the big 4 classic games, and then community stuff. Yeah, I doubt it though, man. That seems too ambitious. That's like 2 days.
I already said 6 days. There's 6 different streams of different stuff. Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. The dream.
I think they're going to keep that main stage format, because I think that they want to.
Yeah, they're going to have opening ceremony, and that's going to be the same. And then after that, they're branching off.
Yeah.
So,
but they could probably fill like creative art for Diablo and creative art for WoW, and let's take a ride with the raid team in WoW, and let's take a ride with the lore team in Diablo 4, and let's talk about Diablo Immortal for a little bit, and think they're going to touch on Immortal now that we had the public thing. I think they will too. I think they're gonna.
I think that they will talk a lot about D4. I think they will talk about Diablo Immortal probably, and
I think Diablo
a decent amount.
Beta too. I think they might give a beta for Immortal,
and I think they'll even go as far as to announce season 23 in the Diablo section of the BlizzCon. So.
Okay.
Not an opening ceremony by any means, but
yeah, fucking front and center, Diablo 3.
Right.
I mean,
that'd be sweet, because maybe that would mean, I don't know, man. I gotta think that how much good PR do you think it would be to actually come out with the season on Diablo 3 that was actually juicy? I don't know, man. I gotta think that would encourage so many people.
If they had the things, and like I think that Reddit and Twitch and even us as content creators are super focused on the PC version of the game. I honestly feel like there's probably more console D3 players than PC.
Yeah.
If you added all the numbers up, I think that the 3 consoles are probably higher in number. And I think there's a lot newer blood to those, at least for the Switch. I know Switch is a lot of new blood. I know it's been out in a long time for like PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, but so yeah, man. I think that if you got a juicy season, not only are you hitting the PC base, but you're also getting all that console love too. I just don't know if they have the games can handle it. I feel like they've given us the stash base, and they said that they can't give us more stash space because of memory limitations. And I kind of wonder, like, can they not load these assets in with the performance issues we're having right now on PC at least? You know, all the lags, all the disconnects, all the stutters and things.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see.
And then we get to what's kind of been received in a somewhat controversial light is there's a, you know, this year is 30 years of Blizzard. And so what Blizzard's doing is commemorating that by selling what they're calling the Celebration Collection, which is a pack of 3 tiers that comes with basically cosmetics for various games. So they got the Essentials pack, and it comes with a Moon Touch Netherwelt for WoW. It's got a Tracer Rogue mount with the Tracer Hero and Heroes of the Storm, an Overwatch player icon and spray, a set of StarCraft portraits, and a Diablo 3 pet and portrait, plus 10 Madness at the Dark Moon Fair card packs for Hearthstone, 5 Overwatch loot boxes, and a code to get 50% off one order in the Blizzard Gear Store. So that's for the tier 1, coming in at $19.99. Tier 2 is a heroic pack, which you can upgrade to add a Blizzard-born Snowstorm mount to your WoW collection, and give him a hammer as legendary Reinhardt in Overwatch. Plus, score a random legendary Hearthstone card from the Madness at the Dark Moon Fair set, and don some cosmetic wings in Diablo 3. And then finally, the Epic Pack. And so the Hero Pack is $40. Epic Pack is $60. And go for the gold and get everything in the Heroic Pack, plus 5 golden Madness at the Dark Moon Fair cards with all 3 golden cards, 3 golden loot boxes in Overwatch, each with a guaranteed legendary, 30 days World of Warcraft game time, and a complete set of Diablo 3 transmog items.
Yeah.
This says so many different things to me. I guess we should talk about the costs, right? Before we kind of dig into what's going on here, right?
Yeah. This is like, I'm happy and extremely disappointed at the same time. So I'm happy because Diablo 3 has been included again in BlizzCon stuff, because they got skipped in 2018. We didn't get anything. And so it's really cool to get a transmog set and to get wings and to get a portrait frame. But those items in Diablo 3 are relatively insignificant, really, you know? But if they look really cool, then I would want to have them. So to get them, I'm going to have to spend $60 to get the transmog set. Let's just say this transmog set looks super dope. And I'm like, wow, man. So it's like, you know, I got to spend the $60. At the same time, $60 is the price of a game. Like that's the full running price of a title. Yeah. That's a lot to pay for something that you're probably not going to play. Like, I personally would like the transmog stuff for Diablo. The 30 days of WoW time to me is going to get used. So that's $15 off basically, because I'm going to pay that $15 for the game time anyway.
$45 now for
so it's $45 for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I play Overwatch, and some of the Overwatch cosmetics are pretty cool. So I have no doubt that the legendary skins that I'm going to get from that would be cool. But do I care enough to spend money on them? Nope. And I don't play Hearthstone, so don't care about that. So it's like I'm spending $60 really just to get the Diablo 3 transmog. You know what I mean? That's really it. So then it goes back to our in-game shop, and it's like, man, that $60 is a lot of money for a Diablo 3 transmog set.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money, dude.
Yep.
So,
and
I'm disappointed with that, honestly. I really am.
And it's hard for like Blizzard to get away with this because you have to pay to play all of their games, basically.
Yeah.
You know, in a game like Diablo 3, like there's an entry cost. If it was free to play, you know, I think obviously to me the better play was to obviously implement a cash shop in Diablo 3, make it free to play, and then give us this like, we could spend $20 and get the cool cosmetics for just Diablo 3. I don't want to, for me,
yeah.
I don't play any other Blizzard game. So spending $60 just for Diablo 3 cosmetics, like that's insane,
steep, man. Yeah. And it's like, listen, Diablo 3 is cool, but it's not like there is no cosmetic in Diablo 3 that's worth $60.
Yeah, and especially with like if you look at the future, right? So it's like if Diablo 3 is announcing an expansion, I feel like you'd be so much more enticed to get something that makes your character look really cool versus like, why do I want to make my character look cooler in a game that like really no one plays outside of the first 2 weeks?
And on top of this, to me personally, there is always a stigma that goes along with pay transmogs. Like if I see you Blizzard $60 transmog set, even if it looks cool, man, I'm gonna be like, that sucker paid $60 for that, lol. You know what I mean? Instead of earning it in game. Like, what if you had a way to earn the transmog in the game? I know it doesn't make Blizzard money, so let's figure out another way to make them money. But it's just the thing. Like when I see somebody on in the relation I have is to WoW, there are paid mounts in WoW that you can only get from the store, from the cash shop. And when I see somebody on one of them, I'm always like, lol, you bought that mount. I don't care how cool it is. I always feel that way. I always feel like, lol, you bought that mount. So
yeah,
I don't know, man.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't really care because like so the game that I akin it most it would be POE, and like literally everyone, if you don't want to look stupid, but some kind of microtransaction.
Because that game's free. Like I think that's the difference. That's the difference to me is because in WoW, if I see you on a mount, you've paid for the game, you've paid for the expansion, you've paid for the playtime, you've now paid for in-game mount, you've paid for character customization, you've paid for server transfers, you've paid for like WoW has so many pay options on a game that you're already paying a subscription fee and an entry fee and an expansion fee. You know what I mean? That it's nutty when you sit back and think about it. You're like, damn, they don't.
I mean, to play devil's advocate, right? Like, technically, like, okay, so say you have a mount in WoW, and that only comes from the cash shop. So you're like, okay, well, like I spent $60, but you could technically play WoW for free if you really wanted to.
If you farm the gold,
right? But you still do have to pay.
You still have to pay to
get the expansion. But at the same time, if you look at Path of Exile, okay, well, to play at that high level,
you'd have to have tabs.
You need to have the tabs. But then again, you could be a level 0 walking around with the most pog cosmetic in the world. Do you judge that player the same?
No, I'm not an advocate for companies making money, or I'm not against companies making money, I should say. I'm an advocate for them making money. I think they should. Like Blizzard's a company, man. I want them to make money. I want GGG to make money. The more profitable they are, the better game we get. But I do think that there is a fine line of greedy that exists. And like GGG's saying, hey, you can play for free. And we put our tabs on sale a lot of times, and you can get the essential tabs for like, $20 or whatever. And it's like, okay, cool. If you're having enough fun in the game, then you're like, I'm going to buy tabs. That's how I did it. Like I played PoE with no tabs, and I was like, I'm having a good time, man. Let me support them and buy some tabs, and that's cool. And I think that that's a thing. But with games that have an upfront cost, like the $60 price tag on them or whatever, plus a subscription fee, like WoW, it's different. It's a little different when I see somebody riding them. And listen, nobody's forcing me to buy that mount, so it's not like I'm upset. To me, I go, well, you just spent $25 for that horse. Well, like I would, this one's free. You can earn it in game, and it's cooler, But I don't think Blizzard shouldn't do it. Like that's fine, I guess, as long as they don't do it a lot. If all the cool mounts start becoming cash shop items, it's a problem, I guess. You know what I mean?
I don't care. At the end of the day, like if and this is going to be a really unpopular statement, but like even if Diablo 4 comes out and it's like $60 to play, and you've got a ton of cool looking cosmetics on the shop, I don't care. I just want the game to be good. I care about the gameplay. You can put all the cash items you want on the cash shop as long as none of them are pay to win. I could give two shits. about.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Where ultimately I don't really care that much.
No.
As long as there's no power being sold.
I'm glad there are other whales. Like, I actually be happier if Diablo had that, because there's going to be people out there that spend like thousands and thousands of dollars on just cosmetics, and that supports my game. I would never do that, but power to them for supporting the game that I love to play. So
yeah, I'm with you. I do think that $60, this breakdown of these things is a little. It seems like they strung up all the games out into all the tiers to make you, regardless of which game you like, you're gonna want the $60 tier. And so I don't know, man. It feels a little not. It's not feeling good.
Yeah, it's weird too, because if you look at so I can only compare this to PoE, right? Because I really only play RPGs. And I don't know that GGG makes any other games, but it would be like, kind of feels weird to spend like $60 on a Path of Exile like cosmetic pack that gives me like basically $20 of cosmetics for Path of Exile, but $40 goes to like other GGG games that I've never even heard of.
Yeah,
like that feels weird.
Like, I don't care about Hearthstone. I don't give a rat's ass about Hearthstone.
And it's not worth $60 at this point to buy really cool looking Diablo 3 microtransactions when you only play like 2 weeks out of every season. Yeah. So I agree with you 100% in that fact. Is that if it's $20 and it's just for all the tiers of Diablo stuff, I would consider it if it looked cool. But the fact that it's like $60 and I get a whole bunch of stuff for a bunch of games I don't care about, and just a little bit of stuff for the game that I do care about, I don't like that.
Yeah, and the thing is like, I'm a huge Diablo 3 fan, so I want the stuff. Like, I want the transmog set, and I have all the stuff in the game, all this stupid. Like, I bought the collector's edition Overwatch for the stupid Overwatch wings in Diablo 3, just because I wanted them. Like, that's the only reason I bought it. I don't care about the Overwatch skins. I got it for the Diablo 3 wings. The only one I didn't buy was the Legion transmog set for Diablo 3, but I like it. I think it's cool, and it's one of those things where I've many times almost gone back and bought the digital version of Legion upgrade just to get that stuff for Diablo 3. So yeah, man, I don't know. I'll have to see how cool it is. Like, I can't even say that I wouldn't buy this. Like, if it's $60, I can't say that I'm not going to do it, because if it comes out and it looks cool enough, then I might be like, man, this is stupid, but what I will definitely tell myself I'm an idiot when I do it. But if I do it, I can't say I'm not. I'll be like, P, you're stupid. You're so dumb. Bye.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It is just weird. It is weird. Like, and I get your Blizzard. You have a handful of very successful games and there's a lot. I mean, I wonder if you survey, a group of people that play Blizzard games, how many of that group plays multiple games? It's probably actually a majority. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm in the minority, so I'm just like one.
But yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
So maybe like to a bunch of people, this is like, whoa, poggers. But to me, it's like, well, darn it, I got paid.
Can I just buy the Diablo stuff for $10?
Yeah.
Like, that's, I would just do that. It wouldn't, it would make sense. They're losing money though, I guess, but it would make sense if they said, like, here's the Diablo pack, here's the WoW pack, here's the, whatever game you play, let us buy. Because how many games do they have in this? They got 5 games, right?
Yeah.
It's Hearthstone, Overwatch,
WoW,
World of Warcraft,
Diablo 3,
Diablo,
HOTS,
and HOTS. So 5 games. So just sell each game for $10. Like $10 you get the Diablo stuff, $10 you get WoW. So you can piecemeal it. I don't know. Maybe 15. I don't know. So feels bad though.
Yeah.
I'm
we say that,
buy that shit.
But I've spent like $200 for a goddamn BlizzCon ticket, and like $1,000 play out. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I get it, man. It's weird.
It is weird. It's weird how they present it, right? Yeah. Like, if you just put like that's the thing. Like, WoW has a cash shop, and you could just put the little WoW things in there. And Overwatch has a cash shop. You just put the little Overwatch. Like, it all makes sense, except for the game that I play or the game that we play, Diablo. Yeah. It's like, it doesn't make sense for us because we don't have that cashed up, and like we would maybe consider buying it if we had it and it was just on that.
Yep.
I think they just do it. We've talked about 100 times is why don't they just do it for Diablo 3 and generate just a little bit of revenue, right? Like give a little bonus to the guys that are actually working hard on Diablo 3 still. Like give them a little percentage of whatever Diablo 3. You know what I mean? Like,
what are you talking about?
What?
You gotta get that. The CEO's got to get that island.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? He's not giving a bonus out. He's like, "Hey, Matt, you've been doing good, buddy. All right, thanks for the new Ferrari, bud." Like
true.
True. No, I'm just joking. That should be what they do. They should hook those guys up and maybe get them a couple more people. You know, could you imagine if they tripled the size of their team? Like if the team they have now is doing what they're doing, like triple it. You know.
Yeah, get 3 people instead of 1. Yeah, crazy.
Could the cash shop pay for that? So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, and I think so. We're getting past. Okay, so that's the cost part, and that feels bad. But I think that what's interesting here is they don't display what the cosmetic is for Diablo. I think that
it's
says
it's not even done yet. They're like, hey, D3.
Well, okay, so that could be the case. That could definitely be the case. We've had seasons where we didn't get to see the
100%. I know
cosmetic before, like until
where you're going.
Right. Mm-hmm. But there's a good chance that they're not showing us the cosmetic because in BlizzCon's past as well, right? So those 2 different scenarios. One is it's not done yet, and 2, it's gonna tell us something that would be a spoiler for BlizzCon.
That's 100% what I think it is.
Okay.
So
what is it then?
I got the Lilith wings, right? You remember that? Like I called it like super early. I was like, they're going to be Lilith wings for Diablo 3 for BlizzCon last year. I even drug you in the stream after the pod. I was like, Fluff, I got it. I figured it out. I think this time, it's going to be. I think the transmog set is going to be related to Diablo 4.
But that's not a spoiler.
Huh? No. I'm thinking this out, man. I don't know. The wings, though, I don't know. The wings, I think the wings are going to be. I guess it's all going to tie in the portrait, the wings, and the set. Because does a transmog set include wings or not? In the past, it has.
No, that's wings is on. It actually says wings in Diablo on the first one. On the second one,
I know.
Heroic Pact says wings.
So what I'm saying is the transmog set going to be another set of wings, or is that wings from Pack 2 going to complete that transmog set? Because the Legion, the Overwatch one came with wings, the StarCraft came with wings, and then the Legion full transmog set to look like Illidan also came with Illidan wings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
chat's already saying Druid for D3. Come on,
dude. There's no way, dude.
I would think how much that would blow our fucking but I don't know. I feel like we would know probably, and we honestly don't know anything. So
there's no way they're gonna put Druid in D3 because it shits on D4. It makes it brings down D4 a little bit. So because it's not as hype. Oh, new class. Like it's not a new class if D3 has it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think there's absolutely zero possibility we're gonna get Druid in D3.
But it just makes you think, and it
could
just
be a
gives you
Bolvar
that
set
hope.
from WoW. It could be the Bolvar because Bolvar.
Why would that be a spoiler?
I don't know. I don't know what they're.
So it's either one, like maybe it is something from D4, but the only way it's something from D4 is if they like maybe give us another like
it's got to be
cutscene or whatever. What are they called? A CG scene.
We're thinking the wrong direction. Go backwards. It's D2 remaster.
Right, but let me get there. We're getting there. Okay, so it's either a cinematic. That's what I was looking for. It's either maybe they're going to show us a cinematic for a new cinematic for D4, and the wings or whatever will be from whatever we get shown. Like maybe it's like Adria and she's got wings or something like that from the next edition, or like you said just a second ago, it is in fact a cosmetic from Diablo 2. What that would be though, like I'm trying to think, like what would be a obvious cosmetic from Diablo 2 that would be like a class or character transmog that would be like, that is iconic Diablo 2. Like, I don't know. Yeah, just pixelated Diablo armor.
I literally just pulled up the bosses of D2 because I don't even remember them. So, I mean,
it could be Diablo Wings from Diablo 2.
He could be like what's Mephisto's not. You can't transmog into Mephisto. You know,
Mephisto.
Isuel. I don't even know how to say his name. Like we already got like Lilith was in there. We already got Lilith Wings. That's it. Like that's really it. I mean,
Diablo 2 wings. Diablo himself had wings, so that's a thing. It could be a thing.
He can transmog into Diablo and Diablo 3.
Oh, I guess he didn't have wings. Never mind. I'm retarded.
That'd be stupid if you're running around as Diablo killing Diablo. Like, I mean, I guess at this point I wouldn't be surprised.
But you wouldn't get it, though.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I don't know what they're gonna do with Diablo 2 unless they just some of the new rework, art is just like some badass looking stuff. And you're like looking like that guy, like the cover art guy or something.
Yeah.
So,
but if it is the scenario that it's just not done yet, I mean that kind of sucks. Because that's what they do, right? It's that they don't they unknowingly do stuff like this. Where we're like, oh my god, this means something, and then it's just like, oh, some guy was slacking and didn't get his work done on time or something.
I bet it's going to be related to D2 because I just don't see. I mean, maybe we could get a character from D4. That would make more sense.
True.
Maybe we're gonna get like a future installment from D4 in past Lilith, and they're gonna make us look like him because that hypes up the sale of D4 also.
That's true. That's a big true. It could be a cosmetic related to the fourth character class that they're announcing. Big true. So then if it's okay, so what about our hypothetical options as one necro, which now I feel like if this scenario is right now, that's what I'm saying. If this scenario is true, then there's no way it's necro because like they're
not going to reveal necro even if it is one of the original characters. If it's one of the playable launch date characters, they're not going to tell us. That's going to be the last one they reveal. I feel like.
Okay.
I don't feel like necro's the good choice. I don't feel like it's the good reveal
for the fourth, or
I don't think it's the good fourth character reveal. I think that's just too. Okay.
Well, right, and not asking me to be the first person ever to play. That's a big misplay by Blizzard, obviously. But yeah, so then so our pool is some kind of hunter / demon hunter / ranger / Amazon person.
It's
and what would be that transmog?
It's crappy. Like not like that's not cool. Like I mean it's not cool, but it's like you already have a demon hunter in the game. So what are you gonna look like? You're gonna make him look more bowish? Like I don't know what you're gonna do to make it look
bow on their back or something.
You're gonna have a wizard running around with a bow transmog? Like, nah, that's dumb, dude. That's not the play.
Okay, so then if it's paladin, what do we give?
That's too crusader-ish. Again, I don't think that's the play. So, but I don't know what the fourth class they're going to drop. Like, what do we think? The two remaining classes. It's really hard for me to even say that Necro's even on that board. I think that Paladin is definitely going to be one, and I feel like Hunter is going to be the other one. And I honestly don't feel like Necro makes the cut. But then we don't have a pet class.
Yeah, what are you talking about right now? We're not talking about what's going to be in Diablo 4. And
but
don't you ever say that Necro isn't going to be one of those 5.
Something's getting cut out, though, man. We're either losing the Paladin-based plate male,
but we're focusing on the cosmetics.
I know, but we got to get the classes down to know what the choices are for the cosmetics.
I'm just saying, what would the hypothetical cosmetics be regardless of the class choice?
I think it's going to be a villain. I think we're going to, or a hero. I think we're going to get more.
Ooh, that would actually be something. A cinematic that's not only like unveils a bit more like Diablo 4, like maybe we get
a new character,
a cutscene of like one of the bosses, right? Of Diablo 4. And so it's like Baal or Mephisto or whatever. Like we get a CGI of them. And in that CGI is also the fourth character class being revealed.
Yeah.
That's definitely a possibility.
I think it's going to be either one of the new baddies they're going to reveal, or it's going to be a new
or both
hero.
Or both in one.
Yeah. But we're not going to get both transmogs though, so we're going to have to pick one. So are they going to make us? Would they be more likely to let us dress up as the bad guy or the good guy?
Probably the bad guy.
The question. Probably the bad guy, right? So I think that we're going to get. I think we're going to get a boss reveal at BlizzCon and a boss transmog set to match that boss.
Yeah, but it's tough because like they've kind of already revealed all the bosses. Like we know that we're getting like a lot of the D2 bosses back in D4. They revealed that last year, or 2 years ago now. Shit. I don't know. It's tough. Like who would they bring back that we've seen and would pog out for?
All of them.
But they already know we're going to bring back all. I don't know.
They're going to bring back all of them. Yep. We're going to be running around as...
Now, all of this from... We've had this whole path because the Celebration Collection... This is what they do, right? Like, this is what we do. Every year, BlizzCon, we're like, oh... What is going to happen?
Man? You got to get that virtual ticket to get the transmog items. Like you had to have virtual ticket to get Lilith Wings last year.
Yeah.
$60 for virtual, $50 for virtual tickets. So they basically got $10 more out of us is what they did. So I don't know, but if it's super awesome, then I'll probably buy it like a sucker. So we'll see. And then the developer stuff.
Yeah, so this wasn't... I mean, for a developer, it was kind of an interesting read. Let me stop flashbanging if I can. But yeah, so basically, Visual Studio is coming out with like a native support for WSL, and as part of their launch, they basically got someone from Diablo 4 to like say how like nice it is, how cool it is to have, basically. Yeah. Which is kind of, it's not really a gaming article more than it is like a software article, but it still kind of gives you some insight as to like what's going on and with the environment of Diablo 4 and how they deploy and what their work environment looks like and stuff like that, which was kind of interesting. I'm very curious though, is it C++? Is C++ or C#? It's got to be C++ at this point. I mean, it has to be.
I'm not a software engineer, so I mean, I know that C++ is newer, obviously, right? So
no.
Then what did you say? What were the two?
C#. I mean, they talk about Visual Studio, and if you talk about Visual Studio, you're talking about C++ or C#. Sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyways.
So.
It's interesting.
Yeah. They've both been around for a little bit, though, right?
Oh my God, since like 1970.
Forever. Yeah. Forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is actually an interesting read. I didn't go through and read all this article, but I'm looking at it, and I have actually had to dig through dump logs before to figure out what was going on with. Like, I had some servers that just kept randomly crashing all the time, and it sucked, man, trying to debug that stuff. So
yeah,
it's cool, man, if they have ways and tools that they can use to work on D4 and work on it faster and better, then sweet. That's what we talked about earlier, was designing a game that they can make content for quicker, and if this helps that development cycle, then it's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah, it's interesting if you're a engineer or DevOps or IT. It's some interesting, but no real like bits of gaming information that most people would probably be interested. But it's still kind of interesting to hear about their setup and development environment and stuff like that.
Yeah, I actually thought it was kind of cool to see their and one of the dev blogs where they released the visuals, like when they were they had like a room designed, and it just kind of had like the gray textures everywhere, and then they started putting stuff on it, and like that the creation process is always interesting to me. It's like, okay, how do they get these rooms? How do they craft all the details in these rooms and stuff like that? So it's always cool to see behind the scenes.
Yeah. And that pretty much sums up all the BlizzCon /Diablo information. some quick POE news is one of the best sites for kind of searching through mods you can put on items. It's called Craft of Exile. They have recently come out with an emulator, which is kind of interesting. So you can actually like basically emulate a crafting session. Like, so if I had like hunter boots and item level 86 or something like that with a 20% quality, and I used a aberrant fossil on it, boom. It'll just like show you like based on RNG, just like Path of Exile. It actually shows you like, okay, this was what could happen.
Take a chess piece with 6 sockets and how many fusings is it going to take? Let's try it. 20 quality. Let's see if we can do it in 50.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay, create a new item.
All right, let's do it.
Body armor. And it's a strength dex technically.
Yeah.
We'll just say for the sake of this, it's a full warm
the
scale.
belly if they let you pull it.
Or, no, I can't. But 80, proceed, and then will it let me fuse? I don't think it can factor in the fusing actually. I think it's just like make the items.
Oh, okay. That would have been a fun task.
Because you're just sitting there like spamming fusings all day at work or something. Like, I just fused something in 20 tries. That would not be very fun.
Just turn it to a fusing gambling stream. Like, okay, right. Place your bets. Let's go.
But it's kind of interesting because you can do harvest crafting, which will replace mods, change things, anal mods, all the things. You can essence craft.
What kind of mods?
Anal. You can beast craft on this. You can just see the possibilities of.
What's the anal mod?
An orb of annulment. We always say anal orbs.
Oh, okay. I'm just curious what it does.
It removes things.
It does remove things, yeah.
That's actually a pretty cool thing for Craft of Exile to have. So if you're like theory crafting and want to know the best, I mean, one of the ways to know already is like to put an item in and it will like calculate. So like, I don't know if you've ever used this site, but.
No, this is still way over my head. I'm still, I'm like 2 weeks into POE, man.
But you could like click gloves and then you could be like, oh, I really like, this mod. And so you pick the mod and then you're like, and then if I could get it to roll with like life gain on hit, that'd be perfect. And then you click the fossils
tell you what you need to do.
And then you can like compute it and it'll tell you like, what's the best outcome if you're crafting. Like
what's the best chance to get it. That's kind of cool though. Yeah. So I could tell, like it'll tell me how to craft the item I want.
Right.
Basically the best, most.
So if I wanted those two things, I've got a higher chance if I do a corroded metallic pristine fossil craft. 1 in 133.
Yeah.
So yeah, super great website for those of you guys that use it, and now it's got an emulator built in, so it's just kind of cool. But yeah, and so moving on, is Awakener dead yet?
Working on it though. I've got 10 or 11 watchstones, so we're like halfway there.
Okay.
Okay. We're working on it. So
any Maven watchstones? I think you have to actually do
I've killed Maven. I've been invited many times, but I haven't fought her. So do you get one from killing her, I guess? I don't know.
Every single time you, I think, kill her, there's a chance to drop a shard, and you get enough of those shards, you fight Maven. But I haven't even fought Maven yet, so.
No, I haven't. But she's invited me to her place, and I've smacked around her little baddies a couple times. But yeah. So
yeah,
it's been cool.
So what level are you?
89.
89.
Something like that.
Last story.
88,
Gladiator.
89, something like that.
Yeah. Sweet as.
Yeah, it's been pretty interesting. It's getting harder as I progress up in the maps. I've done a couple 13s.
Okay.
And they were doable, but I was definitely more nervous because my HP was dipping pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, I know what you're burning to ask me. Go ahead.
What am I? No, I have no idea.
You lie. You lie. Okay. All right. No, I got chat debated me and had me fight some boss yesterday.
It's Ziri. Yeah,
it's Ziri. So I just got the items that dropped to like open the portal to her.
Okay.
And I'm like, what's this? And they're like, yeah, you should go do that. And I'm like, okay, I should. And they're like, yeah, go do it. And then that's it. They didn't say anything about it. So I went in there and got pooed on. And then I went in there a second time, and I hadn't died up to that point. I hadn't died in a while. Like it's been pretty rare. So and then of course I was like kind of frustrated and pissed off. Like, what just happened, man? I just got killed so fast. And then I didn't put any of my skills back up and walked back into her room, so I didn't have like any of my stances, and got smoked again. And then I'm like, all right. So then I went back in the third time and got smoked again. I'm like, I'm done with this, man. You guys win. You got me. You got me on that one. So my chat was not very nice to me in that. But yeah, so it's going pretty decent though, man. I had a rough after last night, and then today I died like 3 or 4 times today too. So it starts to burn you a little bit when you lose that experience though, when it stacks up, because I died last night 3 times in that boss fight, like back to back to back, and that's 30% right there. I was like, ooh, and I was close to dinging, right? I'm like, that stings. And then so today, I was really close to leveling again, and I think over the course of the day I died like 3 or 4 more times. And some of them, like luckily I have like an instant replay feature on stream, so I can go back and watch a lot of these things. And there was a couple, like there was one where I had leapt out of the projectile and I still died. And I'm just like, that's just desync. Like there's, that didn't actually even hit me. And so that stuff stings pretty bad. And it definitely flips me around to wanting to have discussions about softcore experience or penalties on death, and how I feel about them. You know what I mean? Because part of me's like, it's cool. It definitely gives you a sense of, oh, I really don't want to die, right? And that's a cool feeling. It gives you that like adrenaline rush and this and that. But then part of it's like, I'm not going to do this content until I level. So then when I die, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because my thought like I did my Uber lab. I did all that stuff. That was fine. Didn't die in the Uber lab. Like all that was all good. But I definitely did the Uber lab super slow because I didn't want to die. I'm like, okay, I don't want to die for the experience penalty. And plus I had to start over. But now, like anytime I'm going to go fight a boss now that I see what they're like, the boss one-shot me like super hard. So now that I know that the boss mechanics are that brutal and I don't know them, so I'm going to have to learn them. I know I'm going to die, so I'm not going to go in there unless I just recently dinged. And then once I ding, I'm going to go fight the boss.
Right.
So, yeah. I don't know if I like that, man. You know what I mean?
think that it's a good, I do like the system, right? Because it is that, like I really don't want to die, and it's rewarding to not die. It's rewarding to build defense into your build. There's kind of nothing more cringe than building a full glass cannon character and having 0 penalty for dying, like in Diablo 3 or something like that.
I'm with you. Yeah, I do like those things too.
But at the same time, it is Path of Exile, and Path of Exile is chock full of one-shot mechanics. It's not really like, oh, you're being chunked down to death. It's like you're dead or you're alive. And so it doesn't work perfectly in the game like Path of Exile, if you're asking me to be honest. But I'd rather be there than not be there, especially in Path of Exile.
Yeah, if I didn't have replay of what happened to me in that fight, like I don't even know how you would have figured it out. You would have had to suicide several more times just to even see like, okay, so I got hit by the flame circle, which then ignited me and burned me down. But as a new player, I don't realize the ignite. Like I see that I'm dying and I'm like, I can't do anything about it because I don't have anti-ignite stuff, or I guess assume that it exists.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that the flame circle spawned under me. I thought it spawned next to me. So then the second time I went in, I just suicided as soon as I realized I didn't have my stuff up. The third time I went in, I was like, okay, it's on me. And I tried to leap, but as I leapt, I moved at the same time, I guess out of habit. And so I ran through the circle again and left out of it. And it's like, oh, I thought I had to move like instantly, but I could actually have a second to leap over it and make sure I don't screw that up. But it's like those mechanics were even brutal. Like anything that's a one shot like that, especially for new players who don't know it, it's like, okay, again, you're going to hit external resources and Google and watch mechanics and this and that. And maybe that's cool. Maybe you shouldn't one shot things the first time. Maybe you should have this brutal learning curve. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Think that
it doesn't feel good though.
It's series is probably a bad example. I think that what you died to killing you, that's fine. I think that the Siri reflect mechanic, and I don't know if you even ever got to that phase, that is probably not fine, because like you're looking for her. She spawns like 4 people, and like one of them has a mirror, and if you hit that one, you reflect and you kill yourself. Yeah, I think that isn't necessarily clear. I do think it's pretty clear. Like, okay, there's a big red glowing circle on the ground. It's like a telegraph attack, and it's very rare to have those in Path of Exile or any game really, an ARPG for that matter. So I don't know. Like, I watched a couple of deaths, and I was like, okay, well, that's just basic ARPG. Like, you don't stand in bad circles. But, at the same time, the mirror stuff, it's like, how would you have ever possibly known that? You wouldn't have. Like, you would have reflected yourself, and you would have been like, what the fuck did I just die to? It's more of the stuff that just happens in maps, which I'm sure you've experienced. You're flying along, you're killing everything feels good, and you're like, man, this is good XP, BBB, like having the time of your life, and all of a sudden it's like you're fucking just dead.
I had a map boss one-shot me once, and I'm like, what? I was killing everything. It was all good. I killed the boss, and then I did the ritual at the end, and you had to kill the boss again. And I'm going through, and I'm smoking everything, and then just dead. I'm just like, what? Yeah. I was 100% full, and so I'm like, okay. I go back and I watch the replay, and it's like, there was a 1/4 second cast projectile that, literally it was like a 1/4 second from the time they cast it to the time it hit me, and it 100 O'd me. Right. And I'm just like, how do you supposed to avoid that? And then, Chad's like, yeah, you just got to know the mechanics. I'm like, okay, I guess, but it just feels bad,
Yeah.
So,
and I was having this conversation earlier, is like, in one hand, I don't feel experienced enough as a Path of Exile player to do hardcore, right? Because I don't know all the one-shot mechanics yet. But also at the same time, because I am softcore and I do get one-shot by things, it might not resonate with me enough to like always remember that that's maybe a combo that will kill me. Whereas if I died in hardcore to some mechanic, I'd be like, it would imprint me for life, like
that's never gonna happen again.
That's never gonna happen again. So it almost would make you probably a better player to play hardcore, but at the same time, it's maybe like, damn, you don't progress.
Endgame, you'd be dead the whole
exactly.
time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's
tough.
I don't think one-shot mechanics in general are very good in games, period. I just don't think, unless there's like a huge way to make it pretty obvious. Like, I don't think you should just get smoked to one. I don't think you should be able to not. I think you should die to screwing up, but I don't think that you should die to like less, milliseconds of one-shot mechanic. That if you don't have 150 millisecond reaction time to this, you're dead. Like, I don't know, man. Like, this, we're not playing an FPS. You know what I'm saying? We're playing ARPG. It's not the same. Your control input isn't even on that. Like, you're literally running around by mouse clicking things. It's not like you have absolute control. So to me, it feels bad. But yeah, man, I'm having, I guess, if we're going to talk about our POE progressions and stuff, I think, I got the Uber Lab knocked out since I think the last podcast last week. It was pretty easy. I found all the trials myself. I know a lot of people in Trade League and stuff can, I have this one if you need to run it or whatever. Right. But I held off until I actually found them all myself, did them. That was cool. It was pretty easy. It was fun, I guess, to get that knocked out. Level 89, Lacerate Glad. I think the highest map I've done so far is a 13, but we breezed through it. No deaths. It was okay. A little nervous. And we're unlocking the Atlas. I think I'm starting to finally understand how the Atlas works pretty well. You think that until I'm like, dudes, I cannot, like, I ran a map and I pulled the Atlas up and I'm like, I can't find this map. Where's this map at? It's not there. I'm searching. It's not showing up. And then chat's like, yeah, you got to put an extra watchstone in the thing to make it show. I'm like, wait. So the tiles change based on the number of watchstones. And then I threw a watchstone in there and watched them all change. And I'm like, son of a biscuit. I didn't, like, how are you supposed to? Okay. All right. It's just like this one more thing. It's like, I finally thought like, okay, I'm figuring this Atlas shit out. And then it's like, flip. Oh, no, I'm not. Never mind.
Yeah. It is tough.
Me. So yeah, but it's cool. It's cool, man. Like, so that's kind of where I'm at. I've done most of my playtime has just been Atlas progression, trying to get Awakened or Dead. So you'll stop harassing me. basically.
As soon as you kill Awakener 0, I'm just like, oh, kill Awakener 8, dude.
Nope, I'm done.
Yeah, for me, it's, it's been a pretty addicting league. Killed Awakener 8 a couple times now.
Throwing it in my face.
Haven't fought Maven yet. I mean, I'm not expecting you to kill Awakener 8 your first league, even getting into the Atlas. I will say that, like, if I'm taking, which I don't have anything really negative to say, like, I'm super addicted still. Like, the amount of content there is to do this league is actually just insane. What I'm still disappointed by, and that ultimate debate that we talked about 2 weeks ago when we went through the patch notes of, like, we buff 40 skills, and so you kind of had the hopes going into this league that, like, the meta would really shift. But it's really just like the same. I think that PoE really struggles with that. It seems like more than anything is something will stay strong for such a long amount of time. Like, and the other stuff doesn't get buffed up to compete. They don't really add like new uniques that really buff the stuff that kind of sucks. So, like, I love Venomgyre, like, and they buffed Venomgyre, but they also nerfed Assassin. So I don't really feel the buffs. And I think that's unfortunate. With the amount of time I've invested in the Venomgyre, if I was, say, doing an EQ Gladiator bleed, like, with the same amount of investment, I would be, like, insane right now. But I'm a Venomgyre Pathfinder with insane Venomgyre Pathfinder.
Same thing league after league too, right? So doesn't it get tiring for you to play the same thing?
No, I try to make a brand new poison build every league. I just went back to Venomgyre this league because this skill actually got changed. But
yeah, it's I can't really attest to that. I will say that I did notice when doing some of the mapping that you run into all the previous leagues things. And I don't know if this is popular or unpopular opinion, but totems are fun. Like tower defense. Tower defense is by far my favorite mechanic. When I see it in a rift, I'm always like, this is awesome. But it's too easy. It goes by. And I know you can get the tower defense maps that's all you do in the map. But I think it would be really cool if those just progressed until you died. Like, just let you go.
Have you done a blighted map?
I have. I've done one. Yeah, and it got harder. I completed it, but it was probably a low level one. So I'm sure that you can juice them up and make them harder.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying in the rift, like when I'm in the map, when I'm in the map and I'm running the map and I come across it, I'm like, oh, cool, totem time. And then when it ends, I'm always like, oh man, come on, dude. Like, I didn't even get to juice any of my nodes up. Like, they're all like not even max level, So, and like I said, man, it's just fun for me. So as a new player, like, that's my favorite thing. But a lot of them do feel the same though. Like, so the rituals is respond in a bunch of things, kill the things.
Yeah.
Legion is we got a bunch of things, kill the things.
Mm-hmm.
Is Blight the one where they have the fog everywhere?
Delirium.
There's fog, kill all the stuff in the fog fast. The one where you touch the hand and the circle grows, like, kill all the stuff really fast. Yeah. So it's like it's a lot of the same, it's just they're just masking it in different ways. At least rituals got like a item selection at the end, kind of. I kind of like that a little bit.
I think Delirium's quite different than the other ones because, like, there's like the fog. So, like, the faster you progress, like, through the fog, like, the more and the further you get from where you started, the more delirium things to drop, and the more delirium things to drop, you can open a simulacrum. Like, they've all got kind of like big brain mechanics to them. But I agree, like, ritual versus breach versus legion, it's like ultimately it's like click the thing and kill as fast as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like,
so I'm not saying it's bad. It is nice to have the mix up.
Yeah.
Like, they have a good variety because then you have tower defense and you have the one where you go in the temple. I never do those because I think it takes too long. Like, it's just like that's too much of a stop for the map.
Once you unlock the Atlas skill tree for that, it's really good. But
and then
it's like whatever.
And then there's the delving guy, which I have I'm max on as always. Yeah, sulfite. But it's I never get to go do it because I have to get away.
Same. Which is so weird because, like, I usually always stay on top of my delve, but, like, I just want to be in the Atlas right now because it's so new.
Yeah. So I will say that, like, how do you feel about the Atlas talents? Like, as I look at them, it's like, okay, I don't have them all unlocked yet, but I look at them and I'm like, okay, this one lets me pick, do I want to buff which previous league is what it is. It's like, do I want more Sulfite? Do I want more Breach? Do I want more whatever?
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. That's not super fun.
Oh my God, it's so fun. The skill trees are so good.
It's not super interesting to me.
Yeah, because you don't understand how to like min-max the old leagues.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Honestly, I get it. I get what you're saying. I really do.
Yeah,
but I wish I could.
I want more like, hey, in this branch of the Atlas, you're gonna attack 5% faster. Like, you know what I'm saying, or something.
Oh, you want power is what you want. Like, that's not good.
Yeah. So like, to me, it's not super interesting. Because I don't know the mechanics of the old leagues, and you know, like I still don't even know them when they pop in the thing. So like Harvest, I still, you know, I'm just like, okay,
Harvest.
What do I know how to do with Harvest? And it's like, okay, so you know what I like, and this is just somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. I'm like, what do I do? Okay, this one allows me to manipulate maps. Okay, cool. So I'll do it, and then I'll just start screwing with my maps, or I'll upgrade my maps or do things, because I'm like, I don't know how to turn this into juice. So
yeah, Harvest is actually amazing. Harvest is probably the most controversial part about this league right now. Is there's a couple different, you know, ballparks you land in. Is either one, like, oh, Harvest makes the game too easy, and like all I'm doing is fishing for Harvest. I'm basically just like running in, see if I got it, and then deleting the map. And there's people of that camp that like are really not liking Harvest being, and then there's people of the other camp that are like, thank God Harvest is back. This is so cool. I love it.
So like, how do you like? Can you, in a short, condensed way, tell me like how you would juice an item in Harvest? Like, what are you doing when you get a Harvest? What are you jonesing for?
So a Harvest is the only way you can like focus craft. It'd be like going to the Mystic in Diablo 3. Like, so you got an Ingyam and it's got attack speed, damage, and it's like, dang, if this had cooldown instead of a socket, like that'd be insane. Like, this would be the perfect Ingyam. That's what Harvest lets you do, basically. Yeah. Okay. So like, it'll take something that's already good,
and you can make it better.
You could potentially make it better, or you could screw it. You know,
right?
That sweet juice that is PoE.
So I can, like I said, as the more I play, the more I'm starting to understand items and things. But it's still like, you know, I've been playing for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, so it's like it's still everything's over my head at this point. But I'm slowly picking up things. Yeah. You know, so
it's wild because I play I've been playing every day. There's still, honestly, probably 2 times a day I still learn something, which is insane.
Not a dude.
Someone that's played as much as I have. Like, it's just every day.
It makes me. Well, that's another topic. We kind of have something related, so I'll save that. But, well, all right, we'll go ahead and hit it.
Okay.
If PoE's content and complexity is kind of the selling point, but it's also kind of a deterring factor for new players, for sure. Like, it's not even a question. It definitely is. So if D4 has the same complexity as PoE2, I think that, do you think that's going to be a good thing?
I think that Blizzard maybe doesn't give themselves enough credit in the realm of being able to explain complexity to your player. I think that Blizzard takes the opposite approach in a much more negative capacity, where they just assume that everyone's a complete and total idiot, and they just dumb it down so much that it's just like a joke, right? Whereas Path of Exile takes something and they're like, well, this is gonna be really complicated, but we also have like content creators out there and they can explain it in YouTube videos and stuff. So I mean, I obviously prefer PoE's approach by a landslide.
Yeah, I do too. I would rather have the complexity there and have to learn. I will say, with the amount of things that there are to do in PoE, I can log in every day and I can literally spend hours doing completely different shit than I was doing the day before.
Yeah.
You can't do that in Diablo 3. No. Like, if you log in Diablo 3 right now, what are you doing?
Yeah.
There's literally 3 things. You're leveling a character, you're doing bounties, or you're doing rifts. That's it. That's all you're doing. And if it's like, I'm living on PoE, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing in PoE?
Right.
Well,
today I'm focusing Syndicate.
On the trade website. I'm looking at a YouTube video, or maybe, I mean, and I'm kind of memeing because I think I spend more time outside the game than in the game. But I mean, you could do so many different things.
Yeah.
You know, it's there's a lot, man. So and it's fun doing that. I'm not in love mechanically with how PoE plays. I don't think
Sure.
it feels good. There's been a lot of lag for me this season, man, and it's like you know, a lot of times I say, well, maybe it's my internet, but then there's times where like, you know, I go streams and don't drop a single frame, but yet in game I'm having this
Yeah.
like laggy stuff, and it's like, man, that feels bad. And especially when I'm like jumping out of death mechanics and I'm getting hit by them, but I'm on the replay, I'm out. You know, I'm just like, come on, dude.
And I still 100% agree with what you just said. Is I'm not in love with PoE mechanically, and I'm not. I actually very much dislike combat in Path of Exile. I've always disliked it. It feels clunky. You know, the movement skills don't feel good. You know, everything's a one shot, like just one shot everything, or you get one shot. Like it's a kind of a meme.
Yeah.
It's just the layers of things to do and the level of complexity you can build out your character. Like you and I, right? That's the big thing at the end of the day. Is like you and I both play Venom Gyre at the highest level possible. There's like a 0% chance our characters look the same. Like there's 100,000 different ways you can spec out your character, even though we're playing the same build.
Yeah.
And Diablo 3, that would never, ever happen. Ever.
Right.
If you're playing fucking Corpse
like
Lands, we look the same.
Come up with the same build and not even talk about it.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Is like I've literally come up with builds and then I've been like, holy shit, somebody else had the exact same thing.
Right.
I gotta go change something now, otherwise I copied this dude. You know, but it was 100% like, you know, just put pieces together. And so, but that'll never happen. And the itemization for PoE is super complex too. It's just like, okay, I can get all these different things, and for me, it's like I don't even know what these things like. It's like, oh, get this one gives you, you know, I'm just gonna think of a buff off like onslaught. Like I don't, okay, well, what's that do? You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I gotta go figure out what that does.
Yeah.
Oh, this one gives you XYZ. I'm like, well, what does that do? And there's just so many things.
Yeah.
But there's things I dislike, man. I don't like piano flasking. I don't.
But they already said they're probably going to change. I mean, they're going to change that before PoE.
I don't like the way potions work. And like you said, it feels bad one-shotting everything and getting one shot. If the combat that's the worst part of the game.
Agreed.
But it should be the best part.
Agreed.
So if they could make that the best part of the game, then dude, they got the biggest ARPG ever in their hands. But I'm scared about PoE 2. What are they going to do, man? Are they going to make it better? Is it going to be PoE 1 with prettier graphics?
I mean, I don't see, unless we get some crazy overhaul before then, like what PoE 2 is doing with their new skill gem system is they're making it easier, even though it's not more simple.
Down.
No, okay. So hear this out. So say you started and you're playing your last 3-8, right? Mm-hmm. And you want to try out Fireball. Yeah. You have to like completely rework your whole character to put on the skill Fireball. You can't just like, oh, I'm just going to put it in. Yeah. And PoE 2 with the skill linking system and how it works is you just put it in, like, and you're kind of ready to go. It's not any more simple, really. It's still very complex, but it just allows you to like swap gear easier without having to worry about the links on every piece of gear. Like, you know, if you swap out a piece of item or gear right now, endgame swapping gear is, I'm sure you've experienced, it can be pretty terrible because you're like, damn, now I'm under fire res, and you spend like an hour reconfiguring your gear to try to account for that. And that's what I think PoE 2 aims to solve for the most part. And I think that's the big thing that they're turning over. I don't see combat. I don't know, man. I hope that it does, but you know, I played the demo Exile Con, and it was definitely more methodical, but it was early league, you know, it's early leveling. And that's what early leveling feels like in PoE. It definitely feels better. You're not really getting one shot, you're getting chunked, and it's just slower. It's weird.
I think it's slower is a good key word, because to me, I feel like they tried to make an ARPG with bad mechanics and bad control schemes in general, like a Twitch reaction game. And it's like, that's not how this should play. This is an ARPG. This should play a lot of strategy and mechanic and things like that. And if you screw up, you should die. That's cool. But it's not an FPS. And it's really weird because it's like you hit and one shot them, they hit and one shot you. There's no middle ground. There's no like, oh man, I got chunked really hard right there. Shit, like I got to be super careful now. I can't get hit again or any of that. It's just like, boom, he's dead. Boom, I'm dead. Which one's happening? I don't know if I like that, but I do enjoy the systems. It's fun learning the systems.
Yeah. And it's weird too, because like if you look at D3, it's pretty much the same. Like you get to the point, and except for when you're pushing, you get to the point where you're flying through the rift and one-shotting stuff, and especially if you play Necro, you get one shot, right? It's kill until you get killed.
You go glass cannon so hard.
It's just that we have the cheat death, and the cheat death really, I mean, it makes it, I guess, a bit easier on you to like, okay, shit, I proc to cheat death. Oh no, like I really need to be careful. Whereas you just don't get that in PoE. It's just like, oh, you got one shot, and you're like, damn.
I even thought that. I'm like, dude, is there a cheat death in this game? Because like, dude, some of these suck, man.
It's
like,
called logout macro. It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, you couldn't when some of those one shots that happened to me. You know what I mean? It's just like you're just dead, dude. So, yeah, man, I don't know. So that's my thoughts as a couple weeks in. What level are you? Like I'm 88. So what are you? Like you're like 95, 96? Are you in the mid 90s?
Well, I'm 95, and then I have 2 level 92s.
Nice, good. You're pimping it out, dude. Yeah. How much have you been playing? Good Lord, sir.
Like 10 hours pretty much a day on the weekdays, and then like 18 hours on the weekends.
18 hours on the weekends. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I'm not putting in.
I'm not addicted though. I can stop whenever I want.
Yeah, totally.
I'm in control.
It's not a problem. It's not affecting your life.
You know what it does? It reminds me of the times in my life that I was incredibly addicted to Diablo. And then that just makes me a little sad too. Because it's like, man, I wonder when the next time in my life will I'll be like genuinely
D4. When D4 finally does drop, that we are not going to sleep, right? Like it's going to be. Yeah.
People think I'm crazy now. Like when a league launches and I have like 22-hour uptime or something. When D4 comes out, people. I'm
gonna have to start when we start getting release dates announced. I'm gonna have to start prepping the wife and being like, "Listen, babe, like, okay, the first month that Diablo 4 drops, like, you're not gonna see me. Like, I love you. Don't think I don't love you. I'm just telling you, like." I'll make it up somehow, but you got to make dinner every night and do the dishes and all the laundry because I'm going to be streaming like 50 hours a week. Family, I love you. Like I'm going to, I don't know how I'll make it up to you, but we'll figure something out. So.
Yeah. Or just build a cuck shed,
Yeah. Unless they dumb the game down so much that we do everything in the first week.
That's a possibility.
That's what's scary to me, man. That's kind of where this conversation was going, man.
I don't know that there's a lot of scenarios where we like, even if it is a really dumbed down game, I think that the very first season of Diablo 4 will get like probably a month or two of uptime.
I think so too.
My big concern is, so season 2 rolls around and like now we're masters of the game. And it's just like then it turns into Diablo 3, right? We're masters of the game and it takes us like a week to be completely juiced, and then we do all the things, and then it's like, okay, see you next league, so
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the scary part, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I can't say that I'm more excited for PoE 2 than Diablo 4, but I will say that I think my scared and initial thought is that PoE 2 is kind of going to be a sure thing. Like it's going to be a success. I genuinely feel PoE 2 will be better than PoE now, and it will be a successful title. I don't know about D4. I can't say like if I know it's going to be successful. I know it's going to look beautiful. Like we played it. It's going to look amazing. It's going to play a lot like Diablo 3, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a good game. And it's man, I hope this BlizzCon gives us the juice that makes me be like, oh yeah, that's it. It's going to be fun. So
yeah, the dreams,
right? All right, let's get into some Fluff hates, PChild loves.
Okay,
I got some loves for this week.
Okay, I also have a likes.
Likes?
Okay.
No, come on now, you're the toxic one.
Okay, well then I hate people. Yeah, I think that there's a big group of people in Path of Exile right now. They're like, oh, remove harvest. It makes the game too easy.
Okay.
And I don't think that that's. I think that that's a very like pigeonholed way to look at the game. I think that us as Diablo 3 creators, right? Like we see like the mass majority of people that are so casual, right? Because like we see it in our audience, we see it in the YouTube questions, we see it in the people that pop in the stream from time to time. And that's your majority of people. Like they're playing a game, and there's, I don't remember a statistic, but it's like a percentage of players that really fight Awakener 8 and stuff like that. And like you're hurting those players by like saying stuff like, "Oh, it makes the game too easy." It's like, well, it might make the game too easy for you because you're like insane and you play a ton of hours and you know this game inside and out. But I don't think it's. I don't know. I think not being able to step back and be like, "Is this a good thing for the game?" I think is something that maybe Path of Exile people in more than anywhere else are struggle with, because it is such like an elitist type game, right? Like it's a big brain game. But
like I'm playing like 12 hours. Like you're playing 18 hours a day. I'm playing like probably 12 to 18 hours a week, right? Which is pretty. I don't even know if that's still casual. That's probably not. A gamer probably doesn't have 12 hours a week to dump into a game,
right?
And like I'm still so far behind. You know what I mean? Like so crazy far behind. I think if you're playing like you're playing probably 30, 40 hours a week, right?
At least.
Right, at
way
least
more than that.
Yeah, like that's not normal. You know what I'm saying? That's not like what your normal gamer plays. That's like what your single bachelor college student would play, maybe.
Yeah, but I'm also not like a steel mage, right? So if you take me versus some guy that knows the game in and out and he's playing a really meta build that can crap all over all the content, like the amount of stuff that they're able to get done and the amount of time that they can do it is way better than
and that's my point. Me. Even then is like you're so far ahead of me, and I'm a new player, you're experienced and you're playing a lot more, but I still wouldn't say that casual is 20 hours a week. Like that's not very casual, So I agree, but I don't know, man. It'd be interesting to see numbers for PoE to see what their casual player base is, because every game's casual player base is going to vary.
Right.
The lower percents of your player base are going to be your casuals, right? So what's PoE's lowest player rate? Is it 10 hours a week versus Diablo's might be 1? You know what I mean? So because I think PoE scares away casual. I can't even tell you how many people come in my streams. I'm not a PoE streamer. I don't get crazy viewership when I stream PoE, and I still have people come in that are like, "Hey, man, just found your stream, your channel. Man, I'm so scared to play this game. Like, it's so complex. I don't get it." And my advice is the same that I've said on this podcast: just play and have fun. Don't worry about not understanding shit. Like, just play it. So,
cap your resistances and get life. That's all you care about.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So what was your likes? Because I know the viewers. What was he gonna say he liked?
I did watch. Me and Lindsay watched
Titans.
Cobra Kai, and it was okay.
It was okay. All right. I haven't watched that yet. My wife.
Did you watch the Lasso? The Ted Lasso?
No, I didn't. I had the tab up, and then a couple days I rebooted my computer and I lost the tab, so I couldn't remember what it is. I'm gonna put it in the notes here, actually. So, what was it? Ted Lasso.
Pretty decent.
Ted. Okay, I'll check it out. No, I watched the show with my wife this weekend. So, on the weekends, I try to we try to hang out together and spend more time together. Okay. And so, usually that means I do what she wants, right? Let's be real. So, she's like, I want to check out this show, and let's watch the show or something. I'm like, okay. And so there's a show called Bridgerton on Netflix, and it was in like the top 10. And I'm like, okay, I'll watch this. And so she puts it on, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. And honestly, honest to God, I hate to admit it, this is totally kind of like a chick flicky series, but I liked it, man. Like we watched it, we binged. Yeah, I know, man. We binged the entire season. Wow. I don't know how many episodes it was. It was probably like 10. But I'm telling you guys, if your significant others, you guys out there that have to keep the significant other happy, it's actually a pretty interesting show, and I liked it. I genuinely was interested in watching the whole series. It wasn't like, oh my god, I can't wait till it's over. Like, I was into it, man. It was cool. So, if Lindsay's like, hey, let's watch a show, like,
she binged it like last.
Did she?
Yeah, because I was like, we saw the preview, and I was like, I feel like you would like that show.
And
she had heard from multiple outlets. No, I was grinding POE all weekend, dude.
Oh, see, you got to man up sometimes and watch those chick flicks.
We watch a lot of stuff together. We have our binge sessions. We did the Ted Lasso, and we watched Cobra Kai the other night.
Yeah. But Bridgerton was actually like, it was good, man. It was very well done. What did she say about it? She say she liked it?
Oh, she was hooked. Like, she watched the entire first season in one night. So
yeah, we did it in like, pretty much a day, 24 hours. Like, we watched some at night and stayed up. We actually stayed up binging it until like 4 a.m, which my wife never does that. She always goes to sleep early. And like, for me, that's normal. I'm like, okay, no problem, let's do it. But and then we finished it the next day. So it was good, man. It was it was a good series. Cool. So I recommend, like, it's chick flicky though. It's not like it's not gonna get me a man card. It's not like a big super cool win. But
who's your favorite character, P?
The Duke of the thing. I don't remember his name already, but he was the Duke.
He sounds dreamy.
Yeah, he was kind of a dick, actually. So, but what else, man? That's it. Let's get into some Twitter questions.
Cool.
Oh, Apex Legends season launched today. I'm just throwing that out there.
Nice.
The first Twitter questions. If you guys want to submit questions to the new meta, you can tweet them at ThaPChild at Lord__Fluffy, or you can drop them in our Discord servers. We have Ask New Meta sections. The first question comes from Eddie. Eddie says, Diablo 4, PoE 2, and Lost Ark all drop on the same day. What do you play? This is pretty easy for
Lost Ark, PoE 2, and Diablo 4 come out the same day?
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's a different question than, like, you have to play one, and you can only play one forever or something like that.
Yes, it's launch day. Like, what are you playing on?
Well, Diablo 4 is obviously what I play.
That's the same for me. Okay, so I'm gonna change your question, Eddie. I'm gonna say Diablo 4, PoE 2, and Lost Ark all drop on the same day. You can only play one of them for 3 months before you're able to make a switch. You're locked into 3 months. 3 months, you can't stream another game, Fluff.
I mean, it's only 3 months, so I'd still pick Diablo 4.
Okay, 3 months is a long time.
If it's 1 year, I'm picking PoE 2 for sure.
Would you?
Yes.
You wouldn't play Diablo 4 for a year?
If it was, yeah. If you had to pick one for a year.
Yeah. I'm with you. That's the safe bet. PoE 2 is the safe bet, but then that means you don't get to experience Diablo 4.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I'm going with the sure thing. Well, it's like, do you invest and you have a chance to make $1,000, or do you get the 500 and it's a guaranteed thing?
Yeah, you invest, right? I'm with you. So I Lost Ark's not even. It would be third on the list, unless they announce some really dope monetization scheme. Then that would make me excited. But I honestly feel like that game's gonna get screwed when it comes to NA because of the monetization. But we'll see. Demonic Grizz says, if you could take one concept from PoE and add it to WoW, what would it be, and vice versa? He's asking about WoW, not Diablo. So, a concept from PoE and put it into WoW. Skill trees would be pretty damn cool in WoW to actually have like a juicy ass skill tree, but there's not a lot of levels, so you wouldn't have a lot of talent points to get around. I would say, man, it's kind of hard to fit the systems together.
It is, because WoW is all about time gating. Sucks. I'm
thinking about if you threw the Atlas in WoW, but then how would you do the maps? Would those just be dungeons? So you had all these random dungeons and you'd have to unlock them. And then, like, I don't think that would be as fun, especially because WoW's more based on grouping. So you need to have a group to do the Atlas. And then if you did it solo, I think that would just be a huge time suck and it wouldn't be fun. So I'm going to vote that out. I don't know, man. I don't really know what you could. I think I would say the skill tree. I really kind of miss classic WoW skill tree, even though it was really garbage, but they don't even have a skill tree now. It's like pick a selection of three skills. So give me a skill tree that actually matters again. And if you want to make it massive, like PoE's massive skill tree is amazing to me. I love it. I think it's cool. It reminds me of Final Fantasy. Was it 10? Did you ever play a lot of the Final Fantasies?
Yeah, but like probably way more choice.
Yeah, 10 was the sphere grid one, I think, right? Yeah. And that sphere grid was huge. Like that was a pretty massive thing.
It was like plus main stat the whole way and shit like that.
Yeah, but I like that. I like the big sphere grid. And Diablo or PoE's has a lot of plus stats, but it also has like this gives you attack speed with axes. This gives you extra whatever. This impales. This gives like I just done the gladiator ones from recently, but it's pretty cool to have that juice. And then he said vice versa on the end. So would we take anything from WoW to put in the PoE?
Daily quests.
PvP that doesn't matter?
Dailies and lockout timers. Yes. Woo! No, actually group content that's like good.
Yeah. Yeah, like group. Yeah, I'm with you. I was thinking about this the other day, and if we're running maps, right? Let's say you and I, we both have some good builds and we're farming maps, right? Yep. I'm going to have to follow where you went to pick up loot the whole time anyways. It's just like a greater rift.
Yeah, it's like a normal rift, actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like a T16 rift. Yeah. And that would suck. Like I'm going to have to go back and backtrack and pick up all that loot.
Grouping in Path of Exile is terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know why that would ever be good. And
people keep on in chat and be like, "Oh, you and Pete should make you guys should group and play it." I was like, I wouldn't even do that with like someone I thought was like a great player because it's just a shitty gameplay experience.
That's unfortunate because I think that group play is a strong magnet to making a game good. So, Big Unit 20 says if you had to pick one, mediocre D4 or PoE levels of content for D3. That's it. I'm assuming he said, what would you pick? So do you want D4 to come out and be mediocre, or would you? I'm assuming that like D4 never comes out, but we get PoE content for D3.
No, they're saying it's either you get a mediocre next gen title or you get D3 all of a sudden with a bunch of content.
But we're still going to get D4 and be good?
No. How do you not understand this question?
No, he's saying you have to pick one, right?
Yes.
So, okay. Right. So if we pick,
then the other thing doesn't happen. Obviously, we're not going to magically get amazing levels of content for D3 if D4 comes out.
So either choice you get, D4 shit.
Well, yeah.
Because if you pick the mediocre D4, then you're picking a shitty D4. And if you pick the PoE levels of content for D3, you're still getting a shitty D4.
Yeah.
That's the bad scenario. Where's the one where D4 is good? Then why would
you not mediocre D4? So like
why would you not take PoE
okay,
levels?
Well, what's a dream tier? A dream tier Diablo 4 is what for you?
PoE with Diablo 4 with all Lost Ark mechanics and Diablo 4.
Okay, graphics. So then if you take that by half, it's still a pretty amazing game, right?
Yeah. Take it by a quarter. Okay.
So just say half of your dream.
Okay,
that's the textbook mediocre for you.
Yeah. Okay.
So that versus getting Diablo 3 with PoE levels of content. Which do you pick?
I mean, PoE levels of content. PoE's levels of content are good.
And that's the other thing. It's like, this is an easy question to me because it's not like we don't like Diablo 3. Like, hello, we're still hosting a mostly Diablo-related podcast after, 2 years of not a lot of things going on, right? So it's not like we don't like Diablo. Like, I still love Diablo 3 as a game, and if you had tons and tons of things to do, it would be great. If itemization was really cool, it'd be great. Like, the combat in Diablo 3 feels fine, and it was best gen until Lost Ark. So, I mean, of course we picked D3. It's easy.
Yeah. If the question was if you had to pick one, mediocre D4 with Lost Ark combat and PvP, or PoE levels of content for D3?
PoE level of content for D3 still. Yeah.
I might take D4 with some Lost Ark PvP.
I think that PvP is a gamble.
Yeah. I hope it's, man, that's like a huge gamble for me. Like if it's good, it could be infinite fun, you know?
Yeah.
I hope it's good. I can't wait. I hope BlizzConline gives us some little bitty bit of PvP juice. Stud Life says, if you were Jeff Bezos and are worth almost $200 billion, would you retire or would you keep working hard every day?
Yeah, this makes no sense to me. Like if you're worth that amount of money, and why are you still working? Especially if it's like, I get if you're like J. Allen Brack, I don't know, or like the Matt Morhaime, say he was like just buttloads money or fist, you're still getting to work with video games. Like it's still probably your hobby. So say you're a bazillionaire P, you're still playing video games.
I would still own the company. So like, does Jeff Bezos really do that much work at Amazon, or is he just there in case like they do some dumb shit he doesn't like? He can just be like, no,
right? But it's still like, I don't know. I guess I don't see how. I don't know. Bezos, his whole passion in life is like things being sold on the internet, and like,
yeah. If I had $200 billion, there's no way I'm going to actually work. Like I'm not going to go do an 8-hour day at the office. Never.
But like, you want to be like if you own the game studio, you'd be like, yeah, I want to still be involved in decisions and stuff like that. That's
I'd
really
come
cool.
by and be like, well, what are you guys working on? Let's see what you got. And be like, oh, you're gonna do what with loot? No, that's stupid. Right. Let's do this. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'd come fuck this stuff up, you know, because that's what they do, right? They're not going to make the great decisions,
right?
But no, there's no way I would work. Like, I don't. Yeah, it almost makes me wonder. Like, you know, I don't know. I just maybe there's obviously something that people like him have that I don't have, because once I got $1 billion, I would have been like, yo, peace. Like, you know, Amazon blew up and he probably went from a millionaire to a billionaire pretty quickly, and I would have been like, selling the company, see you guys later. So Crystal said, if you had to enter a gladiator ring right now, what weapon would you choose? No guns or bows, like IRL. A sword, I guess.
I mean, I did a bit of like bow staff stuff when I was in martial arts, so I guess I'd go with that.
A bow staff?
Maybe like a blade on the ends or something. I'd be more comfortable with that than like trying to swing a sword around, probably.
I mean,
longer reach.
Longer reach, yeah, I guess.
You pick your sword. I'll fuck you up with my bladed
I'll just
staff.
throw my sword at you, and then I'll take 2 swords so I can throw one, maybe, hopefully.
And hopefully the pointy end goes forward.
Yeah. I mean, if it just hits you, like, we have armor on, or what are we doing here? What are we rocking? Yeah, I don't know, man. It's not like I've ever thought about how I would kill somebody with a weapon. So
yeah, I think about this daily.
Yeah, Fluff's always like, I could just have my bow staff right now.
PChild, what would I do? Yeah.
If I had my bow staff right now, I would Donatello his ass. So, Arcane 101 says the new meta gets to bury a time capsule next week to be opened in 200 years. What are you putting inside? You guys have to pick items together.
You know, what'd be more fun is if it was 5 years from now, we put like the patch notes from the most recent patch in Diablo, and then compare them to like 5 years from now.
If we would have started that 3 years ago,
2 lines different. Yeah.
200 years. Man,
is it to like represent us, or like
I don't think so.
Humankind? And
you know, I would take it as just like, what do we want to? Yeah, humankind. Let's go with that. Like, you know, we're gonna wipe ourselves out, and aliens are gonna find this capsule.
Okay. Okay. What would be the best things to take away from human existence?
Can we put a bunch of Corona in there so they
obviously a link to both of our streams?
Yeah. We put all our VODs on a jump drive. I put like a hard drive in there. I don't even know, man. What do you like? See, that's the thing. Like, nothing to me right now seems like this is so important that it's gonna last forever. Like, nothing seems forever right now. It's just all memes and instant gratification on pretty much everything, I feel like.
Yeah.
So, Game of Thrones. I'm gonna put Game of Thrones in there just so somebody can watch it and be like, "This is so good." And then season 7 hits, and then they just what? You know?
Like, oh, this is why they're no longer
This
around.
is why
They all killed each other after this came out.
I don't know, man.
I don't know either.
When you think about like how they put like classical music and stuff in some of the ones from 100 years ago, like we look at some of the, like Beatles, for example, even though I don't really think so, but a lot of people idolize the Beatles and say their music was, iconic in this. When it was going on at the time, I don't think you probably realized that. You probably didn't think like this is going to be like one of the best songs ever in the history of mankind. You're just like, oh, it's a pop song.
Yeah.
And so, do we have any pop song? Like, is Drake's telephone song, a Hotline Bling or whatever the name of that song is that going to be like looked on in 50 years and be like, man, Hotline Bling was so good? Like, to me, no, but maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that Nirvana song that we'll never escape for the rest of our lives.
Which one? Teen Spirit?
Yes. if we heard it at the time, and I remember being like, okay, like I don't see what the big fuss is about. Yeah. And now, like it's been played into our brain, but it's never stopped. That's the problem. It's never stopped playing since the day that
I haven't heard it in ever. When have you heard it? I haven't heard it in months and months and months.
There's only like one good radio station in Kansas City, and it's only been like one good radio station for like 15 years. So
and they just randomly throw that Nirvana song in all the time.
Drives me crazy.
Yeah, I don't think that's the issue. I don't listen to the radio ever, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I used to because I drove to work,
Yeah, but I have Spotify on my phone, which is linked to my car, so I just use that.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, if I just listen to Spotify, I'll never discover any new music. You know what I mean? I would just play my shit.
Weekly. You should do the Discover Weekly playlist. It's actually good sometimes. I found stuff on there. So check it out. It's there. It's a thing. Except for my playlist is screwed now because I have to play this stupid DRM free stuff on my stream. So it thinks that I love Boots and Pants now. So like every new it's like Discover Weekly, it's like Boots and Pants and Boots and Pants and Boots. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't even really like this stuff that much.
Are you trying to say Boots and Cats, but you're saying Pants?
No, Boots and Pants. You can do Boots and Pants too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, try it. Boots and Pants and Boots and Pants. Yeah, it works with pants too.
Boots and Pants.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
It's there, dude. That's it. So our time capsule, what are we throwing in there? I think we're going to throw VODs of all the new meta podcasts. And
obviously.
We're going to be like, I don't know what this Diablo 3 and POE games were, but we're going to definitely find them and play them, And
they're going to be like, well, let's find this Diablo 4 game they kept talking about. And then they never find it.
They're still Googling 200 years from now, like, Google Diablo 4 release date. And it's like, never?
What happened?
Yeah. Blizzard, it says coming in what's 200 years from now? Coming in 2223. We'll have it.
That's podcast episode 1,330,000.
We're like 70 podcast. I got sad news today, guys. PChild finally died. Episode 7,000. Passed away last night. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week with episode 133. If you guys want to submit questions to the podcast, hit them up on Twitter and our Discord. So you can find me at ThaPChild on Twitter and YouTube and Twitch and all the places.
I just tweeted at you actually right during the podcast.
You did right now?
I did. And you can find me also, Lord_Fluffy, on all the platforms besides Twitter, where you double those underscores. We'll see you boys next week. Peace out.
That's a rude ass tweet. What is that?